Baby when we go to the party day 달리자 잠든 도시의 밤 yeah, hey. 조금 늦었지 금방 갈게 울리는 폰콜 재촉 그만해 오늘 우리가 함께 그려나갈 이 밤에 수많은 색깔들을 야름칠할 거야 지나가는 터널에 빛들은 오렌지색 오늘은 다시 돌아오지 않을 거야 Under the moonlight Every day I feel alright Waiting for tonight 모두 함께 춤추자 I just wanna hit it tonight And you I just wanna hit it tonight With you 오늘 밤은 편하게 할래 멋을 부리는 건 피할게 나로 사람이고 어린데 다시 뜨는 건 좋게 할 수가 없는 것 같아 왜 오늘은 야자 속에 배려해 시끄러운 거는 피해 바람에 맞으며 달릴래 그래 이 도시를 내 섬으로 만들어 뿌리 내리고 제발 조용하게 파티해 Oh no 난 내가 좋아하는 사람들만 초대하고 누워 별을 보며 바람으로 샤워 그리고 내 입으로 옷을 만들어 입고 열매를 따서 마시지 진탕치에 빠져 너도 같은 생각을 하고 있어 매일 나는 이게 좋아 우리 같이 느낄래 아마 오늘 같은 날은 오지 않을 거야 알겠어 내 옆에 있어줘 기분은 나누자 okay Under the moonlight Every day I feel alright Waiting for tonight 모두 함께 춤추자 I just wanna hit it tonight And you I just wanna hit it tonight With you 뜨거운 밤 모든
여자 곁에 널 보게 될지 몰라 눈치 좀 보다가 내 이야기 아닌 척하며 슬쩍 떠볼까 나 몰라 하면서 두 번의 계절이 너와 나의 곁을 지나갔구나 지금 이 순간도 난 네가 보고 싶구만 확실하게 이야기했어 이제 그만 조급해 보일까 해서 바쁠게 불 보는 뻔해서 그러니까 내 말은 이건 충분하잖아 baby You know 난 남자일 때가 더 괜찮아
Man 몰아붙여 너왜 펜을 골리네 이런 내 depression이 녹여놨지 아무것도 못하는 놈들은 내가 잡혀내는 걸 지켜보기만 하니까 매일 발전이 없어 When I get up in the studio 그저 그냥 그렇다는 듯이 입을 열어서 술작품을 만들지 너흰 절대 따라 못해 이 생활을 yeah. Why you hate me 내가 바라보는 것이 너희들에게 방해가 된다면 조금 미안해 but 나도 꿈이란 것이 있으니까 난 계속해서 밀어붙여 내 열매를 따야 애절히 비켜 초록색으로 물든 풀장으로 몸을 던지지 Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this line What? Hello What? Why? I don't know what you're talking about. Please, 난 그냥 내 할 일을 해. 뭘 해야 하는지 알기 때문에 누구보다도 열심히 심고야 매는 맺지는 많이 따돌래. 검은 안개 싣고 먼 나락으로 떨어져 본 적이 있기 때문에 밝은 빛만 밝으래. 그게 내게 주어진 사명이고 나의 희망이고 나도 not no matter what that's 돈을 버는 게 나쁜 행위고 내게 욕을 하고 편했다고 얘기를 하게 되는 이유가 되는 건지 나는 잘 모르겠어 buddy 어쩌지 근데 나 지금 까봐야 돼 소리 야, 난 아직 어리게 이 아름다운 열매를 나쁘게 보기 힘들어 내 손에 한 움큼 쥐게 내가 원하는 대로 다 짜고 젖어 있을게 Now say Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this breaking line Let's get this line Let's get this line What?
오늘은 딱한 잔만 하고 빨리 들어갈 거라고 우린 말했지만 우리 발은 버릇처럼 네 차로 딱한 잔만 더 하고 들어갈 거라고 우린 말했지만 우리 발은 당연히 3차로 새벽 2시 분위기 죽여 짝 맞춰 놓자 친구도 불러 들어가는 빈병 배를 또 눌러 큰일 났다 주방 막혀 어디로 갈까 일단 나가 이 주변은 가두시면 문다 이 멤버 그대로 우리 집에 가 기본 노래 너 you 몸만 봐 뭐가 또 개 많아 소파베드도 하나 있어 맘 편하게 놀다가 소주 맥주 안주까지 4만원 우리 집에 가는 엘리베이터는 꽉 찬 것 같아 Playing Play the music 시작해 house party 전화기 그만 완전 다 같이 짠해 여기 잠깐 게임 시작 눈치 게임이 저도 보여 분위기 보여 나 오늘 좀 이뻐 분위기 즐거 보고 싶은 거 있으면 말해 고백할게 나 사실 요리 좋아해 너 유유 몸만 봐 먹을 것도 꽤 많아 소파베드도 하나 있어 맘 편하게 놀다가 Take it up till the sun comes up and 놀 때까지만 졸리면 침대로 come on and sleep 눈 뜰 때까지
오빠 너무 곤히 자고 있어서 안 깨우고 가. 오빠 어디 한 말가 진짜지? 진짜 가져도 되는 거지? 연락해. 기다릴게.
몸만 봐 먹을 것도 꽤 많아 소파베드도 하나 있어 맘 편하게 놀다가 너 몸만 봐 편한 옷참 많아 칫솔도 많이 사다 놨어 맘 편하게 자다가 매끈한 엉덩이를 봐 아무것도 중요하지 않나 지금 이 순간 아름다운 그대 하나뿐인 그대 나 오늘 밤은 그대 품에 안기고 싶어 my lady 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 네 입술은 빨개 깨물고 싶어져 달콤한 다이에 같아 이 순간 되고 싶어 네가 들고 있는 파란 레모네이드게 빨대 해변에 누워서 잘 때 태닝 오일을 등에다 발라 달래 긴 생머리 잘록한 허리를 부드럽게 스치는데 손에 핑거 발레 눈동자는 수영장 크고 깊고 투명해 난 지금 그 속에 푹 빠져서 계속 허우적대 네 미소는 내 기분을 띄우는 부력 내 각막에 보물 지도를 그려 네 맘이 나침판 어디로 갈까 난 컴퍼스 네 무릎에 누워만 그려 네 입술과 매끈한 엉덩이를 봐 아무것도 중요하지 않나 지금 이 순간 아름다운 그대 하나뿐인 그대 나 오늘 밤은 그대 품에 안기고 싶어 my lady 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 더운 여름도 yeah. 추운 겨울
하는 거라 믿는 나는 좀처럼 두근두근거릴 일이 전혀 좀 하루살이도 저량은 나를 비웃듯이 멀리 날아가죠. 빙빙 돌아가는 세상도 나를 비웃듯이 계속 꿈틀대죠. Tell me please don't tell. 차라리 듣지 못한 편이 내겐 좋을 거야. Tell me please don't tell. 차라리 보지 못한 편이 내겐 좋을 거야. 사람들 북적대는 출근길의 지하철은 좀처럼 카드 찍고 타볼 일이 저녁 중 집에서 뒹굴뒹굴 할 일 없어 빈둥대는 내 모습 너무 초라해서 정말 죄송하죠. 하루살이도 저량은 나를 비웃듯이 멀리 날아가죠. 돌아가는 세상도 나를 비웃듯이 계속 꿈틀대죠. 칼바람도 상처난 내 마음을 어쩌지는 못할 거야. 뚝뚝 떨어지는 눈물이 언젠가는 이 세상을 덮을 거야. 차라리 듣지 못한 편이 내겐 좋을 거야. 차라리 보지 못한 편이 내겐 좋을 거야. Tell me please don't tell. 차라리 느껴보지 못한 편이 좋을 거야. Tell me please don't tell. 차라리 살아보지 못한 편이 좋을 거야. 비틀비틀 걸어가는 나의 다리 오늘도 의미 없는 또 하루가 흘러가죠. 사랑도 끼리끼리 하는 거라 믿는 나는 좀처럼 두근두근거릴 일이 저녁 중 하루살이도 저량은 나를 비웃듯이 멀리 날아가죠. 빙빙 돌아가는 세상도 나를 비웃듯이 계속 꿈틀대죠.
이제는 알아 말 안 해도 왜 이리도 쉬운 걸 몰랐을까. Yeah. 이웃들을 부른 시간에 30분 더 널 안아줄걸. 난 몰랐어 너의 맘의 크기도 옷 사이즈는 알았어도 너를 숨죽게 하는 것도 까먹고 또 어찌 벗어. 차라리 내게 화낸다면 쌓이는 것 없이 말했다면 yeah. 이렇게 네가 차갑지는 않았을걸. 끝이 나고서야 깨닫는 걸. 널 너무 모르고 네 맘도 모르고 네가 나에게서 멀어지고 있는 줄도 난 정말 모르고 네 선물 고르고 네가 원했던 건 이런 게 아니었던 걸. Yeah, I wanna be a good girl. 받기만 하는 거 말고 주는 걸 하고 싶었고 지난 돈도 벌었는데 나를 보는.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to the Alpha Pro Series Ultimate Showdown. This is going to be 3 days of some of the dopest non-GSL StarCraft in the universe. So, put your seatbelts on, put your tray tables up, stow them in the upright position. Put your seat backs upright, put away any electronic devices, because we're going to freaking take off, you guys. Game number 1 today is Solar versus FanTaSy TVZ, my favorite matchup. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little excited. Let's get right into the game, baby. Yeah, that's what's up. We are playing some Ultimate Showdown today, and these matches are gonna be just freaking incredible. Let's do it. Thunderbird, LE in the top. Left hand corner in the red. Playing Zerg from Triumphant Song Gaming. It is Solar. And his opponent. In the bottom right. In the blue. Playing Terran. From Pixel 1, it is FanTaSy. Baby, both of these players just absolute top-notch contenders. Before we get into the game, let's talk about this tournament a little bit, huh? This tournament is sponsored by Pixel 1 and Alpha X. My team, pardon me, it's sponsored by Alpha X and Africa TV. These players have been knocked out of the GSL this season. They are not in the round of 4. They are not going on to the finals. And we thought, these guys are too good to be out of the GSL already. It is a little disappointing to see them going out in the round of 32, in the round of 16, and we're hoping to see more of them. Since there's a break now, the GSL finals are next week, the GSL semifinals aren't until Saturday. We thought there's no huge StarCraft going on right now. Let's give these players another chance. Let's give them a shot. Let's put on a show for some players who are absolutely incredible, who we want to see some more from. So that's how we've selected the 8 players for this tournament this week. Today is going to be Group A, which is Solar, FanTaSy, Zest, and GuMiho, which is just a freaking crazy lineup, man. And of course, tomorrow, we're going to see Group B, which is Cure, Ragnarok, Classic, and Hero. These are some players who are doing some incredible things. Notably, if you take a look at some of these players, I think I have... Oh, I don't have the WCS standings pulled up here. But a couple of these guys you will be seeing again at BlizzCon. Almost certainly. Now, there's still Super Tournament points to divvy out next month. So the WCS Korea standings may change just a little bit. But right now, it looks like some of these guys will be going to BlizzCon. Some of these guys are just on the cusp if they do well. Should be a great crop of players. So I'm super jazzed to bring in these games today, guys. Check it out. Solar has gone for Overlord speed first. He's been doing this all the time. And so have a lot of other Korean Zerg players, especially. Yesterday's Zerg matches in the GSL don't count. Those weren't really Zerg matches. I think that was a Dota game that they somehow broadcast on accident. It didn't feel like StarCraft at all. But more Zerg players who aren't dropping 27 Niduses in each game are going for Overlord speed first, which allows him to get in and get that scout. And you can see that Solar has got a lot of information from that very small scout. He's seen these he's seen the starport going up behind this. He's seen 2 barracks. Oh, it looks like he's seen 2 barracks. He's just seen the same barracks twice. Surely he won't be fooled by that. And he's got that 3rd command center that he's seen as well. Now, with the early 3rd command center, generally you're going to see more barracks behind that. So FanTaSy is probably prepping for that bio play already. And so he knows what's coming at him here. And we'll see how he decides to respond. He has no additional tech beyond his spawning pool just yet. Probably going to wait and see him throw it on either a Roach Warren or, yeah, go straight into lair tech very quickly. With, I imagine, a Roach Warren behind this quite quickly. Could get some Nidus Worms out here later. But for right now, just that Roach Warren and maybe an Evo Chamber, 1 or 2, just to be safe. Roaches are real scary, but +1 roaches are scarier, man. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Solar changing tack here. Look at this. His Overlord scouts out these 2 engineering bays and realizes that he's not going to get like an early timing here. If you're getting 2 engineering bays, you're obviously going to get extra upgrades there. So he's actually ended up going for a Baneling nest instead here, swapping out his roaches for Banelings because he thinks there's going to be a lot more bio on the field that he simply doesn't want to deal with. Meanwhile, FanTaSy's got his third base in place. He is getting that +1/+1 on the way. Stim just about to finish up. He'll get combat shields right behind that. Fourth base down for Solar. A bold choice. I like it. These Hellions popping in from FanTaSy are going to scout that fourth base, and they're going to come back in a little while for a drone barbecue. Baneling speed on the way, and +1 melee on the way for Solar. Hydralisk Den. Yeah, baby. Ling Bane Hydra. The Hydra Den is so important. We see a lot of players that either skip or forget the Hydralisk Den, or honestly, some players that just put it off until it's too late and they don't have any Hydras in time. What the Hydralisk Den at about the 6-minute mark means is that Solar's going to have plenty of Hydralisks out, probably early enough, that he can shoot down Medivacs. And now that's key. We don't actually see too many Medivacs out just yet. In fact, yeah, the first two just popping out now, which means that FanTaSy's already a little bit behind. You generally want a couple extra Medivacs to support this. Instead, FanTaSy spent a lot of money building up some Widow Mines into this army, which is also nice. But a couple Hydralisks out will be able, even just 3 or 4, be able to push these Medivacs back. And they're able to stop this aggression. And that's really key here. When you get a lot of bio-aggression like this, and they start scanning out, picking up creep tumors, really with Ling Bane, all you can do is push them back and hope for the best. Once you've got the Hydralisks out, and we see 7 on the way now from Solar, once you've got those Hydras out, then you can push away the Medivacs as well, so they can't continue that aggression. Now, FanTaSy has not yet seen this Hydralisk Den. He has no idea anything that's up here, actually. He's only just now scouted the 4th base. It's some really lax scouting there from FanTaSy. I'd love to see him at least dropping a scan to see what's going on. But he'll see the Hydralisks soon enough, I'm sure. He's able to stop the building of a couple tumors, which is really nice. And wow, 4 more Hydras on the way for Solar. That's a pretty sizable Hydra army, man. FanTaSy setting up a minefield here. FanTaSy setting up a minefield here. Solar's got to be very, very cautious. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this. FanTaSy setting up for dual-pronged harass. He's trying to draw Solar out of position to defend the south side of his 4th base while he moves in with this small force up top. Solar's not going to take the bait. FanTaSy's going to move on to creep. Here we go. Pulling him back just a little bit, but look at this. Solar is not completely committing to this attack here. He sees the size of the attack and just goes for some of those units there. Very nicely done. A good cleanup by FanTaSy, and Solar doing a good job staying abreast of this situation. FanTaSy rotating around to the north side of the map as well. This is great. Now, Thunderbird's a really cool map because the Zerg is able to defend at both of these locations down here on the ramp and up here at the bottom of the ramp as well to defend the 4th base fairly easily. So even though it feels like Solar's trying to pull, or FanTaSy's trying to pull Solar in 2 different directions, here to the north and here to the south, Solar's able to just park his army in the middle and kind of wait. He's got a small, quick, mobile army that's able to respond to these aggressions very quickly. Drilling Claws on the way from FanTaSy, as well as 2-2, meaning that he is 100% committed to this bio-mine style. Solar's going to pop in and check the 4th to make sure there's nothing there. He's going to be very relieved to hear that he's ahead economically. In fact, we can see him at 81 drones already. Look at that income tab. Solar has not yet been harassed, and that's a failure of FanTaSy. Obviously, the running joke, how do you beat late-game Zerg? You don't let him get there. LOL! FanTaSy is letting Solar get there. Solar has now taken a 5th base at the 9 o'clock position there. Also monitoring this 4th base location, he'll see this base coming over. So if we look at Solar's view, we can see he'll see this base floating in position and now knows that he's still 1 base ahead of his opponent. He started Hive Tech, he started the Spire, he's even started the Macro Hatch there in the main. FanTaSy is loading up. Is he going to do a big drop into the 3rd? Yeah, he is. Oh my god, 3 medevacs full of Marines. It's like girls in Atlantic City, except they're dudes and they're in combat armor, and it's disgusting. Zerg being run by here is going to get pushed away at the 4th. This planetary fortress should finish up, but the big story here is this drop steaming in. FanTaSy skipping the 3rd and going straight up into the main. Oh my god, he is going straight up into the main here. Zerglings are already here on top of it, though. Able to clean all this up. I think FanTaSy should do a nice job picking down the Zergling number, but a good response there by Solar. Actually, oh, is FanTaSy going to live away? Okay, no, FanTaSy is going to pick up. I thought he might be able to survive out of that thing. That's crazy. Does get away, loses about half his Marines. Will drop back into the 3rd, though. Again, Solar in position. But while all this is going on, we see a big fight happening in the middle of the map here. Widow Mine's getting down. They do have Drilling Claws now, so they're going to be able to get down a little bit faster. No Overseer here, by the way, from Solar. Solar morphing in a lot more Banelings, though. 10 more Banelings on the way. Keep an eye on the production tab for FanTaSy, though. He does have battle cruisers coming at us very soon, baby. FanTaSy's Bioforce has been pushed away. That might be just for Liberator range. It's probably not battle cruisers. I got really excited. It's just going to be for Liberators to support this Biomine army. 3-3 on the way from both players, and a crap ton more Banelings on the way for Solar. Greater Spire as well for Solar. He's going to have to start getting Corruptors out, but I love this. Solar's on top of it. Look at this. We see Vipers already coming out from Solar here. He is prepared to yoink those Liberators out of the way and make sure that FanTaSy is unable to transition safely to get that giant ball of Liberators that the Terran player really, really wants. FanTaSy again stepping onto creep here, trying to put pressure on the 4th, but Solar's already starting with his 6th base. He's cleared out these minerals here to connect his 2 bases, and his creep spread is just disgusting. He's got Overlords poop and creep everywhere. He's got a couple active tumors, and he's out about halfway across the map already, which is a very nicely done job. A couple of drones falling in the transfer there. Widow Mines popping over to that natural. I love it. I love it. Spores going down, though, and Solar seems to be in good shape, ready for this attack to happen. There it is, finally. Liberator range is coming out, and double Ghost Academy on the way. Oh, baby. Bio, Mine, Liberator, and now Tactical Nukes. Gonna be a good comp here from FanTaSy. The problem is, again, Solar has been sitting on 80 drones for some time. Oh god, Solar losing 2 Vipers. That's a mistake. Stim onto creep, though. FanTaSy is going to pop backwards, though. A couple nice Baneling connections to clear off the beginning of the army here. FanTaSy trying to kite back, and Solar chasing him very greedily. Solar a long ways off creep, though. And actually, the tide is starting to turn just a little bit here. FanTaSy still retreating, and Solar chasing him all the way to his front door. Wow, this is a massive commitment from Solar, who really wants to get something done here. 1 siege tank on the high ground is going to do a lot of work there. 5 kills already on that siege tank. Make it 6. Taking out all the Banelings. But Solar already remaxed on 11 Corruptors. So Solar chasing down that army, but I think that was probably worth it. Giving away a couple Surglings and Banelings to remax into Corruptors, even 1 Infestor on the way. Again, Hydralisks showing their worth here, picking off this Medevac. If this was just Ling Bane, this Medevac would get away with it, but 1 Queen is going to be able to pick it down there, and Solar's going to lose a little bit more supply. Ouch. Corruptors now out. All the late game upgrades starting to go here for FanTaSy, who's getting Cloak and EMP with 2 nukes queued up behind that. Oh, baby. Now, if FanTaSy wants to go for proper Maru-style late-game TVZ nuking, he has got to get like 4 more Ghost Academies to have 5 or 6 nukes in production all the time. Otherwise, there's so much lag time between the nukes that you're unable to really keep the Zerg pushed back and be aggressive with your positioning with the Ghosts. So I would expect to see FanTaSy dropping a couple more Ghost Academies, unless he's just hoping for 1 or 2 lucky nukes. Luckily, speed has finished, or pardon me, range has finished for those Liberators, so that's going to force Solar back a little bit, and FanTaSy now able to control this choke point, which is going to let him put some pressure here on the 6th base of Solar. Luckily for Solar, this space is not saturated yet. His 5th base is plenty saturated, adding on a couple Spine Crawlers there to try and force these mines out. Oh god, some big mine shots happening there. Nice mine connections on that base. Meanwhile, the 6th base under assault as well. FanTaSy is doing a great job micromanaging his units here, and he's going to be able to actually put some pressure and possibly force a cancel here, or a cancel rather, force a kill on this base. These Liberators doing such good work here. 14 drones have gone down, but Solar is unconcerned with that. He has built a bunch more, still even on SCVs and drones here. 2 nukes in production now from FanTaSy. More command centers going down. FanTaSy will need to continue to expand a little bit. We can see that Solar's already done a good job of bisecting the map in his favor. So he's rebuilding that 6th base. 5th base is back saturated again fairly. And we can see Solar staying in pretty good shape as he has been maxed for quite some time. His bank now over 1,000 minerals. He's hurting for gas just a little bit. Needs to get the gas established at this 6th base. But with Broodlords out, Solar is now going to push forward. Liberators are sieged up, but man, Liberators don't really hit Broodlords that well. And the positioning here, not all that great for FanTaSy. Solar is just going to go for it here. His army moving through the Liberator harassment zone, but the Liberators are doing so much damage. Look at that ball of Liberators. God, 1 fungal growth would just destroy them. So the Broodlords all do still stay alive. 10 sacrificial SCVs have gone down. But the Ghosts, the Bio, all getting wrecked there as Solar puts continued pressure on FanTaSy's base. Solar able to stop this base from going down for FanTaSy. 5 more Corruptors on the way. The Broodlord force looking very, very scary now from Solar. 10 Broodlords. to only 5 ghosts. A handful of Vikings are out now, and more ghosts coming out. This is the right transition for Solar. This is the right way to do things. Circling run by will get cleaned off there. A little bit of a misfocus fire there from Solar. Broodlord's going to pick down this rock, so they have easier access into the 4th base. This is a planetary fortress, but man, Broodlords can siege up on that planetary. I don't care how good your high-sec auto tracking is, it still can't shoot Broodlords. First nuke of the day is going to go down with this ghost. The ghost is cloaked, the Overseer is morphing, but Solar has spotted it and should GT heck out of there. That's right. Alright, so that nuke is going to go down. The Overseer is going to live, and the Ghost is going to try and move forward and drop that second nuke in a more conspicuous, a less conspicuous location here at the 4th. Now the Overseer should be able to see it, and yeah, Solar can see that Ghost, and there we go. The Ghost will go down. I don't think that nuke will go off. Yeah, the Ghost will get canceled there, so a second nuke won't land. No joy with either of his nukes yet for FanTaSy, but he does have 3 more nukes in production and should have a 4th here soon. Second Spire on the way for Solar as he wants to start cranking out double upgrades for his Corruptors and Broodlords, going into a serious late-game push from both players. We see not the Zergling Adrenal Glands, rather, but the Infestor Pathogen Glands upgrade on the way as well, indicating that Broodlord Infestor is going to be the order of the day for Solar. FanTaSy with a little tiny push here, going to try and put some pressure on the 6th base. At 9 o'clock, this is going to get driven away by a small Ling force. Another nuke happening here at the 5th base. Ghost sneaking around. Where's that Ghost? Oh, there he is. Hidden in the corner here. Ooh, now it looks like Solar has not seen this one yet, but it is going to go down. Going to damage, destroy 2 Spore Crawlers and a couple drones there, but not quite the hit that FanTaSy wanted. This is going to allow FanTaSy to move on to Creep, though, and continue his domination in the middle of the map. We have seen him spending a lot of time in the middle of the map here, but he is about to get flanked here. Uh-oh. Flank coming in from both sides. Broodlords, Lings, Blinks, forcing FanTaSy to get up and get out. Now, his 6th base is established here. Planetary Fortress at the bottom. He's also got his 5th base that he put up here at the 9 o'clock position, or the 3 o'clock position, rather. Also a Planetary Fortress, so FanTaSy in pretty good shape. Looks like the Ghost got... Oh, no. There we go. We'll go down there, but Solar able to clean up that Ghost, only losing a few Zerglings in the process. 3 more nukes on the way for FanTaSy. Behind this, we see Flyer upgrades. Level 3 happening here, as well as Flyer Carapace level 2. Or level 1, rather. Goodness, from Solar. Solar going for the classic every upgrade in the game. Late game Zerg composition, as we see him with Zerglet, with Ultralisks, Corruptors, and Broodlords. Now, what's really interesting about this is I only see a few Infestors on the map. 4 Infestors, pardon me, which is just a handful. And these Infestors haven't been here all game. So if you take a look at the income or the energy levels of these Infestors, you can see actually they're quite low. Only at about half energy for all these Infestors, which means that he's going to have fewer fungal growths available to him when the time finally comes. The Queens, of course, have plenty of energy. Solar drawing an arrow where he's going to attack later in the game with those Queens. Both players trying to rotate down to the south to use the underutilized bottom portion here. This is really funny. I love when 2 attack paths collide. And that's going to force Solar back home. Another nuke strike going down on this middle base here. And I think, well, Solar doesn't quite see it just yet. He saw that Ghost just a moment ago, but doesn't know what's going on. And another nuke strike as well. But it looks like that one has been cleaned up very quickly. So here becomes the long, drawn-out game. Especially for the TVZ late game, which looks like... Okay, Solar picks off the Ghost. Nicely done. Which is going to be FanTaSy trying to land some lucky nukes, and Solar having to stay hyper-vigilant about taking them down. Now, it is essential that Solar not miss any of these nukes. If FanTaSy gets one good nuke down on his army for certain, Solar's in a lot of trouble. No matter how big his bank is, it's going to take a while for him to rebuild back to his full strength, especially when you're going for Broodlord Infestor. Broodlords take a long time to morph. You got to do the Corruptors and the Broodlords. Infestors take a long time to build up that energy that they need. So Solar's got to stay very, very vigilant, and it looks like he is on top of his game here, keeping an eye on the most common places for FanTaSy to nuke. Now, I like this FanTaSy set up a little siege tank mini contain here on the 9 o'clock base. Solar really unable to engage in this because the siege tank on the top gives him a lot of play. But lots and lots of nukes now coming down for FanTaSy. Looks like this one probably will land. I don't think Solar's found this one quite yet. But his one at the middle base is going to get taken down. There it is. A couple SCVs getting sacrificed to the gods of late game as both of these players transitioning to make their army even larger. We can see FanTaSy adding on even more ghosts, so he's got more nuclear missiles ready to go. Wow. Another nuke going to land here at the northern base there for Solar. Solar is going to lose a few more drones, but I think he's probably just fine. We can see the income tab shows that it's been largely in favor of Solar for pretty much the entire game here. Solar's been playing a very, very aggressive game so far. Able to clean up this base here with just a little Zergling run by. These players very evenly matched so far, even though Solar's bank might look differently. Now, the Infestor number getting very scary here. Solar needs to be quite cautious with the Infestors, because obviously Ghost Snipes will destroy these mothers. But with Infestor energy building over time goes on, as time goes on, he's going to have a much better chance of picking off these ghosts. Of picking off these ghosts. Of picking off these ghosts. Oh, God. Oh, Solar. Oh, God. Oh, Solar. Ah! Oh, shoot. He's going to lose a lot of Infestors there. Oh, my God. Half the Infestors disappearing instantly, and Solar cannot be happy about that. Another nuke going down. That is exactly what FanTaSy needed to give himself a bit of an advantage in this game. We can see Solar remaking only 2 Infestors, though. All of his Infestors very badly wounded, losing a lot of the high-energy Infestors. That's a big win there for FanTaSy. Solar is going to engage into the top ground here, picks off the Siege Tank, uses his Banelings there to finish them off. The Ghost will get picked off here, but the Liberators have begun their slow, laborious siege onto this base. FanTaSy has got to stay extra sharp as he's moving these units in. He wants to put pressure on this middle base because Solar's already taken both of these middle bases. Pushed away from the south there. Solar's already taken both of these middle bases, which means his economy is going to be unmatched. There we go. Solar sees this one. Is going to get out of there. Get out of there. Go, little buddy. Oh, no, that's too close. You're too close. Further away from the radiation. Go. Go. Oh, he didn't run far enough. Tisk, tisk. That's what happens when you're lazy, kids. You got to go all the way out of the nuclear missile blast. Okay, one Ghost is going to die to 74,000 Broodlords. That's just fine. Another nuclear missile here going to land at the north side. This base for Solar has been nuked about 30,000 times, but it's still alive. Broodlords dangerously out front here. The Ghost number for FanTaSy is growing. He's got 13 Ghosts now. These Broodlords have got to be cautious for snipes. At the same time, however, oh, wow, this is a very aggressive play here from Solar, who's going to plant these and get these Liberators going out of here. He's going to pick off 1 Liberator, maybe even 2. And this is so funny. It's like a siege and reverse siege tactic here. Solar moving forward with these Spore Crawlers, and then FanTaSy moving forward with these nukes as well. Vipers are out now. A couple snipes going down. Not too bad at all. Oh, he nuked his own Ghosts there. That's a pain, though. Zergling Baneling run by here at the bottom. 74,000 Liberators going to siege up and drive that away, though. Just fine. Just fine. And here we see, finally, FanTaSy able to make some progress in dislodging Solar from one of these bases onto the side. Solar's army stretched a little bit thin. Obviously, Broodlord Infestor not quite as mobile as Zergling Baneling, so he's going to be forced to try and defend this position. And right now, actually, FanTaSy doing a pretty good job closing in. Solar not being as aggressive as he needs to be in pushing these units out, and away. 2 more nukes landing, and both of Solar's bases in the middle are going to evaporate, quite literally evaporate, in a cloud of nuclear fusion. All right, Zerglings and Banelings rushing forward here. Liberators are sieged up, but there are so many Corruptors. This attack is entirely going to be cleaned up here. Another nuke at the north side, but I don't think that's really going to matter, as this base will stay alive. FanTaSy has not been pushing forward with these Ghosts aggressively enough. Meanwhile, we see some Corruptors belching some sludge onto this Planetary Fortress. The Planetary Fortress almost certainly going to fall. FanTaSy's army is all the way over here. It consists almost entirely of Liberators and Vikings, and that base is going to go instantaneously. A lot of SCVs falling as well. Solar has not yet retaken these main bases. He's finally getting Burrow at 24 minutes. What a game to start off this series. Unbelievable. Nuke is going to go down at this north base, but the north base still alive here for Solar. Again, it's eaten so many nukes. This Ghost had, 12 kills, and that's all with nuclear missiles. Beautifully done. Another nuke in the middle here just to pick off creep tumors, I guess. And again, this is really interesting from FanTaSy. He keeps putting these nukes here, and here, and here, instead of here, and here, and here, where this base might actually disappear. Again, this base is probably still going to be alive after this nuke hits. Look at that. He does get 11 drones, which is nice, but it's not really enough to justify the cost of that nuke. How many nukes has he led so far this game? Oh, I don't have the number of nukes, but we'll keep an eye when the next nuke gets launched, how many of them there are, but I feel it's got to be at least 15 now. And they're starting to become diminishing returns after a while. If you can't get damage done with the first few nukes, you've got to keep trying. But now FanTaSy is committed to this nuke style with all these Ghosts and the nuclear silos. Meanwhile, FanTaSy sieging up, moving forward onto this bottom base. Both players now realizing the time is nigh for them to get some damage done. More Liberators coming out from FanTaSy, but all of his bases now under attack from this Broodlord Corruptor army from Solar that looks very, very dangerous. Now, this so many freaking ghosts from Solar. He has 2 more nukes on the way. Looks like he's going to cloak a couple ghosts, try to get some nukes in here. We'll get a snipe off on that Infestor. 2 Infestor kills. I don't know where those Infestors were going, but very strange. Oh, man. FanTaSy is going to lose a lot of his command centers here up at the north side of the base, and this bottom orbital command, which has been moved from his main base, actually, down to the 3rd. FanTaSy really struggling to keep up this game. His production doesn't seem to quite match. Ooh, he's going to try and double nuke the hive. Now, that shouldn't kill... Oh, triple nuke? Is that a triple nuke? That's his 23rd nuclear call down, by the way. Oh, my God. He's going to engage in the middle here, but don't sleep on these nukes! Double nukes everything. Does get an extractor. Does get one of the spires, but not the greater spire. Oh, man. Okay, another nuke should finish off that greater spire. The hive will still be alive, though. Meanwhile, both armies sharking around the middle of the map here. Solar with a distinct army advantage here over FanTaSy. FanTaSy's nuke is going to go down. The spawning pool and the greater spire are going to go down. That's actually a big loss. The ghost is going to go down to broodlings there, but the hive stays alive. We will see Solar replanting, I imagine, that greater spire quite quickly, as he's in a desperate place now. 4,000 minerals, and finally getting his spawning pool back up. Take a look at the armies for these 2 players. What interesting compositions that we've got here for late game. Marauders, a handful of Marines, and 13 ghosts. He's got more ghosts than he has Marines. That's insane. 4 nukes ready to go, and 20 Vikings. Whoa, some huge EMPs going down on all those. Oh my God, look how low all of those infestors are. The purple energy bar is looking really, really sad. And again, it's going to make it even more difficult. Very nicely done. A great fungal growth there to get that one cloaked ghost to stop the building. Another huge fungal growth going down on all those ghosts. This is going to give the Broodlords the ability to move forward and push those ghosts backward. FanTaSy in a lot of trouble now, losing a bulk of his ghost army. His supply down about 40 now. 30 or 40 army supply below his opponent. Now, Solar is going to concede this base in the middle here, because the Liberators are going to prevent him from engaging in an effective way. That's really, really nicely done by FanTaSy, drawing some victory out of the jaws of defeat there, losing a lot of his ghosts there, down to just 7 ghosts already. They do have full energy. He's got plenty of ghost energy and plenty of nukes to go with it, but we'll need some more ghosts sometime soon. We can see him mixing in these Marauders. I like that, in case there's an unexpected Ultralisk switch. Marauders are also a little bit beefier. They'll stay a little bit alive a little bit longer on top of broodlings. FanTaSy has reestablished himself in the bottom. Oh my God, look at all these mules. Mules are so good, you guys. Look at the income graph. That's disgusting. Slowly, the income has been going further and further in FanTaSy's favor, as Solar has not been aggressively expanding. He took these bases earlier on, but now he's got to keep them alive later in the game. And since Solar's army is not quite as mobile as FanTaSy's army, look at this. All the Liberators going to siege up. They're going to prevent any reinforcements from arriving, and FanTaSy's going to be able to pick off this base before Solar can get back into it. Spire going down here. It is not scanned there by FanTaSy, but FanTaSy is going to succeed in picking off this base. Broodlings getting a lot of... Broodlings not doing much damage. They're getting picked down by these Liberators. But again, Broodlings are free, man. So, oh God, the scan going down to pick off even more of these Infestors. The Bird Infestors trying to be sneaky, but again, massive EMPs all over the place. Oh, FanTaSy does have the EMP range upgrade, which means his EMPs are even more deadly than they might otherwise be. FanTaSy's going to shark back with this army. Moving a couple Marines in to just try and see if they can get something done. Obviously, throwing away that army supply to rebuild with more ghosts. We see the Greater Spire finally on the way for Solar, and he's building more Infestors. Now it's FanTaSy's turn to contest the middle of the map. Solar has not yet seen this base taken, but he will see it, I'm sure, quite soon. And Solar's taking the counter base here on the north side of the middle. Remember, these are rich gas modules, or rich gas geysers here in the middle of the map, which means that real estate becomes increasingly valuable over the course of the game. So while Solar will get this kill, the real story here is these rich gas geysers that both of these players are desperately going to want, as their gas counts, especially for Solar, is very, very low. FanTaSy has built up quite a big bank here. Solar has built up quite a big bank. Did I say Solar? I think I said Solar. I'm not sure. Corruptors moving forward. Broodlord's now joining the party here. Broodlord's going to shell down on this little battalion that had moved forward onto the 4th base. My God, this is only our first game of the day. Can you guys believe it? Here we go. The massive battle is happening. Fungal growths going down. Blinding clouds everywhere. These units are all dead. FanTaSy is getting out DPS'd like there's no tomorrow here. No army control from FanTaSy, and Solar is just going to roll him over with incredible control. Now, the Corruptors have mostly gone. No, the Corruptors are all still there. The Vikings have mostly gone. There are no Ghosts left. There are no Marines left. Solar taking a huge victory in that fight. He's adding on more Broodlords. 7 Broodlords getting morphed in. 15 Corruptors being made. And Solar takes a beautiful fight there. FanTaSy is going to have to watch, I think, as his Empire crumbles. Oh my god, Baneling's destroying everything. Terran players, look away. That was disgusting. And that's got to be GG out here from FanTaSy. I mean, it's FanTaSy, so it'll be another 6.5 years. But eventually here, we're going to see this game ending quite soon in Solar's favor. Solar taking a much better engagement here where that battle was happening. We saw the blinding, not the blinding clouds, rather the clouds going down. We saw the fungal growths going down. Solar really controlling that late game high-tech Zerg army just a little bit better. The Vikings and Infestors with that built-up energy really showing their worth as the game goes on. Solar re-expanding the north base. I'm surprised Solar isn't just moving in to crush his opponent. Obviously, I mean, FanTaSy has almost nothing left, and his changelings should confirm that. And yeah, once the changelings confirm that, we're going to see Solar moving forward. FanTaSy's going to scan this and realize exactly just how screwed he is. Will try and defend this base, but there's practically no hope, man. Going to draw the army out of position, and here we go. All the army from Solar sweeping in this base, just ready to die for king and country. The third base for FanTaSy is going to go down. This base has survived for now, but I don't know, man. It's just not quite going to be enough. The Ghost is here, and oh my god. Okay, yeah, he sees it. The nuke not going to go down. Oh, I thought Solar was playing with fire there for a minute. Playing with nuclear fire, am I right? What's up, me? Okay. Again, fungal growth on 4 Marines. The Infestors are back to full energy now. There's so many Broodlords. There's nuke going down on this particular spot on the map because why not? But the Ghost gets caught out, disengages, and gets the hell out of there. FanTaSy desperately trying to rebuild more commands, or he's got all these orbital commands up with a lot of energy left on him. But man, I don't think it's going to be enough here. The income graph just finally going in favor of Solar, but there's simply no army left here for FanTaSy. It would take a miracle for this game to end in anything other than a FanTaSy defeat. Whoa, I must have missed a nuke somewhere. A nuke here in the middle of the map that I missed. Sorry, 21 drones going down, but the drone count still pretty much in favor of Solar. FanTaSy just sort of trying to scrap his way through this game. Solar playing very, very conservatively, I will say. Solar should move forward and crush FanTaSy's push, but he's not doing that. Solar's just kind of chilling. He's just like, whatever, man. I got a coffee. I'm good. Again, another nuke here. I think Solar can afford just to let this one land. He doesn't even need to bother finding it. Just pressing forward. The army supply now at 32, almost entirely wrapped up in Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts. Again, we're going to see so many mules for FanTaSy. Are just going to get destroyed here. Broodlords destroying mules. Can you name a sadder sight? I thought he was going to fungal growth them there for a minute. That would be hilarious. Fungal growth going down here. We do see a nuke onto this actual only mining base here for Solar. Well, Solar has the 12 o'clock mining base as well, or the 1 o'clock mining base as well. So even if he loses this one, the Ghost's going to get cleaned up there. The nuke not even going to land. There's finally the GG from FanTaSy, and Solar Kangmin-Su going to take game number 1. Well done for Solar. So FanTaSy is going to drop down 0-1 in this first series. Now, FanTaSy gets has chosen the next map already. So the next map is going to be Triton LE. So, guys, we're going to put 1 minute on the clock, and we're going to get in to game number 2. Thank you all for joining us for the Alpha X Ultimate Showdown. We have got 3 days of insane matches for you. Group A today, Group B tomorrow, and then Saturday is going to be the semis and the finals. All right, we're getting everything sorted out here. Get these players in. We'll get the ready, and then we'll get going on to Triton LE. Okay, guys. We're in here. With game number 2 between Solar and FanTaSy. Game number 1, an epic struggle. 30-odd minutes of gameplay. Game 2, I'm expecting nothing less. Oh my god, my game just crashed. What? I crashed. Okay, hang on, guys. My game has just crashed unexpectedly. I don't know what's happened here. Let me see if the game actually went through. Apologies, a little production delay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to throw 2 minutes on the clock, and we'll get going here in just a second as I rejoin the game. Ooh, that was unfortunate. Oh no, shoot, they're all in game. Okay, well, we're gonna take a quick break, guys. In the meantime, he thinks I'm in menus? Oh dear. Okay. In the meantime, while we've got a second, guys, I do just want to really quickly talk about the sponsors for this tournament. First and foremost, thank you to Africa TV for sponsoring the tournament. They're very kind and very generous to help us with these games. I do also want to say some of the okay, we're just gonna go straight into the game with looking at somebody else's stream. So hang on just a minute. Do. Sorry, guys. Hang on a sec. Play dot. Okay. Hang on. Okay, we're going to work off of one of the other streams, guys, as soon as that game gets going. But we are... Okay, a bit of an odd delay here. Apologies, guys. We'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, guys, we are back. I do not have any sound right now because I'm not actually in this game. This is going to be a bit more of a quiet cast, but let's get into game number 2 here. How interesting, after my game has unfortunately crashed, and we're going to get right into this next game. So, game number 2 with Solar and FanTaSy, and this looks like Solar in the bottom corner. And FanTaSy in the top left of Triton LE. Again, apologies, guys. I don't have any sound for this game, so I'm hoping I don't miss any big nuke shots or anything like that as the game progresses. But we will make do with what we can and keep going here. Game number 2. All right, we're back in, baby. Solar has expanded, and it looks like FanTaSy has as well. FanTaSy just going for, so far, barracks and into factory, which I think is what he did last game. So it looks pretty standard so far. And Solar already sending that third drone over to get that third base down. No early Reaper out of FanTaSy, so the Reaper going to be a little bit late there. Won't be able to stop that drone from starting that third base. So the third base should go down here any second, as Solar has just saved up the cash he needs for it. And there it is. Third base down for Solar, so no shenanigans there with the Reaper pushing him back out. Reaper is trying to cause some trouble here in the natural for Solar, but he's going to get blown back. And should get out of there, wow, with his life. So nicely done there by FanTaSy. Now, if the Reaper does his entire job, he will pop over and find that third base, just so he knows what the expansion timing looks like. And it looks like, yeah, the Reaper is making his way over to the third base now, as FanTaSy continues to execute his 1-1-1 build. Again, this is what we saw last time from FanTaSy, where he added on a third command center, added on some more barracks, and went straight into bio play from there. But FanTaSy, of course, famously a very versatile player, so he should have plenty of time. Oh, sorry about that, guys. FanTaSy, of course, a very versatile player, so he should have plenty of ability to go mech if he so desires. So far, I haven't seen that just yet, but right now he's pumping out his third and fourth Hellions. Should be able to put some pressure on the fourth base of Solar, or the third base of Solar rather, as the third base goes down. Now Solar's already working his way up to Lair Tech quite early, actually, on 3 bases. I love that. Some early roaches out of Solar would be great. Last game, we saw Solar sitting back and doing a lot of defending. FanTaSy tried to poke and prod a little bit, but was unable to get any real early game harassment done. This game, it would be great to see Solar pushing out on the map, to be pushing his limits a little bit, and try and back FanTaSy into a corner. Last game was a very classic late game TVZ, where they both just sort of waited until they had these massive armies, and then one big engagement, honestly, decided most of the game, as both players were so good at defending that they were able to stop everything else. But this game, maybe, a little more aggression might be warranted. We can see FanTaSy adding on 3 barracks, or 2 more barracks, rather, for a total of 3 barracks. That stim about halfway done, so he is going for bioplay again this game. But yeah, there it is. The Nidus just down for Solar now, and we should see, wow, 20 Zerglings in production. He's not even going to go up to Roaches right now. There's no Roach Warren on the way, and there's no Banelings either. Solar does have an Overlord at the 9 o'clock position, ready to scout for that Nidus as soon as it's down. So he is going to see the third command center and know that he is probably in pretty good shape here. Oh man, FanTaSy just adding on a couple more units into the barracks here. The Overlord moving into position over the main there. The Nidus about to finish up, and it looks like Solar is cranking so many flipping Zerglings into it, but the army is in place for FanTaSy. The Overseer is going to get picked down here. Changeling on the low ground. The Overseer does go down there, but the Nidus Worm has not been spotted. FanTaSy's not going to get it down yet. Oh my god, FanTaSy is just going to see it right now, I think. But it's too late. The Nidus going down in the main, and oh my god, the Queens, the Zerglings, everything pouring out of that Nidus, forcing an immediate run from FanTaSy. FanTaSy is going to try and defend against this, but oh man, it's looking real rough right now. Hellions recalled to the main here. FanTaSy trying to stop this push, but 5 Queens already out. More Zerglings in production. 20 more Zerglings in production. No Banelings, no Roaches. The sustain on this attack is not going to be quite as impressive as it once was with Roaches or with Banelings, but FanTaSy doing a good job so far, biding his time, staying patient. On the flip side, Solar dropping down 2 Creep Tumors, creating that Spine Crawler. He's doing a really nice work here to try and end this game on his own terms. I would have loved to see a Baneling Nest behind this or something, which would force FanTaSy to take less aggressive fights, would buy Solar a lot more time. FanTaSy's able to get that first Siege Tank out, and the Zerglings are going to have to run by. Streaming through here, a couple Zerglings on top of the Siege Tank already. There is a repair going down on the Siege Tank, though, and the Bioforce is getting picked down little by little here. The Siege Tank is going to finally go down! Oh my god, the Siege Tank survives. All the Zerglings have gone down. Solar not looking like he's in a great position here. The army stimming forward. Solar's going to get taken down, and it looks like this attack has been thwarted. FanTaSy is going to take a quick game number 2 after Solar's failed engagement. All right, baby. So let's go back, see if I can get this game number 2 going down. Apologies for missing that other game. Okay. That is so odd. And I am finally back. Okay. Back. Music on. Sound on. Let's rock and roll. Okay. All right, I need to get an invite for this game, so we're going to put a few minutes on the clock here, and hope they can invite me, make me the lead, and set up this third map quite soon. Going into game number 3 already. Again, guys, this is a dual tournament format, so it's just like the GSL, where we've got 4 players today. 2 are going to go on to the semifinals tomorrow, and 2 of them are going to get knocked out. So we're going to see 2 of these players going home today. Right now, so we're gonna get going hopefully quite soon, but this is game number 1. Between Solar and FanTaSy. Up next, Zest and GuMiho. All right, our last map of the day. Trying to figure out, since my game crashed earlier. Okay. Ah, they think I'm still in the party. That's why. There we go. Now we got some people. Solar FanTaSy. Okay. And all of our observers. A reminder, guys, we do have one more person we're waiting on before we can get into it. So I've got those 2 observers, that observer, and me, and then hopefully we got both players ready to go. There we go. Okay. Those observers, that observer, this observer, and we're ready to go. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, game number 3, finally coming at you, fellas. Thank goodness. Apologies for the odd delay. Was not expecting that at all. It's unusual for me to get kicked out of a game. I think that is only the first or second time it has ever happened. And we are finally ready to go here with game number 3 for these 2 players. So, with that, Let's get straight in, baby, to our decider game in the first series of the day. There it is, rock and roll. All right, baby, we are on the greatest StarCraft 2 map in the history of StarCraft 2 maps. Never has this game created a better map to play on. Spawning at the 10 o'clock position in the red. From player 1, it is FanTaSy. Or Pixel 1. I can never remember which one they are these days. His opponent, in the blue, playing Zerg from Triumphant Song Gaming, it is Solar. Marine. All right. What a quick game number 2. You know, I'm a little happy that I didn't miss game number 1. I would be crushed if I had to commentate a 30-minute game with no sound that I wasn't controlling the camera in. Luckily for me, I'm on here in game number 3. Okay. 1 gas for FanTaSy, barracks down, natural expansion down as well. Hatch, gas, pool for solar, all looks standard. These guys are so evenly matched. I was trying to look up the last time they'd played each other directly. I couldn't find it before the match started today. I had a lot of admin work to do this morning. But I know they have both got similar results in the GSL for a while now. They're both relatively even players. Solar, I think, a bit younger than FanTaSy. But honestly, these are both really good, I'd say, B-tier Korean players. So there's a lot to do. A lot to think about when they come up against each other. Their styles complement each other really well. We've seen FanTaSy with longer games, usually, famously going long into the late game. And Solar has been really respecting his style by going pretty late as well. Ooh, look at this. The first big build order difference between FanTaSy Game 1, FanTaSy Game 2, and now FanTaSy Game 3. Slightly different this game than the first 2 games. He's gone for a 1-1-1 previously, where it's Barracks, Factory, Starport. This time, however, he's changing things up and going for Barracks, Factory, Barracks. Meaning he might want to put on a little bit earlier aggression than he otherwise would. Ooh, this is really nice, actually. I like it. Of course, he is swapping over to get a couple Hellions out, which is very, very standard in ZBZ. And Solar... Oh, Solar does not see the build this game. Okay, so he hasn't seen that second Barracks just yet. He is going to rotate down around and try and go in from the south side here. And so he will see this command center being built, which he's already seen. Yeah, he's going to see the command center finishing up. So he should know, Solar should know, with the third command center that early, that there's going to be more barracks behind it. He'll see the barracks, he'll see the stim spinning around there. He'll know that, again, he's looking at a bio-flavored opponent. So far, that hasn't prompted any changes in Solar's play just yet. Game 1, we saw Solar go for Roaches, and then he canceled the Roach Warren and went straight into Banelings when he saw that he was going to be up against heavy bio. This game, he's starting that Lair Tech a little bit earlier than he otherwise might have. Is he going to do some cheeky Nidus play again? Spore Crawler, and more importantly, Baneling Nest down. 3 Hellions and a Reaper. Going to try and check for that 4th base. They should see that it's not there. Creep spread from Solar already magnificent. Got the 2 active tumors down, pushing out so that he can take that 4th base when he needs to. Of course, the 4th base on Disco Bloodbath. Oh, tumors are going to go down. Okay. So FanTaSy's not going to be able to pick those tumors off. The 4th base, of course, on Disco, pretty wide open here. There are 2 major attack paths, 1 and 2, both of which can be unlocked and made a little bit wider by some of this destructible debris. I have not seen players taking advantage of that just yet, and whoa! FanTaSy going for that, or pardon me, Solar going for that 4th base. Wow. Baneling speed already on the way, though. Double drop coming out from FanTaSy across the map. He's going to support with the Hellions. 5 Hellions out already, as well as a Reaper. The double drop going to help a lot with that. The double drop has not been spotted. Oh, it's going to zip around, and Solar's not going to see that double drop. The double drop going to unload up here on the high ground. Ooh, and this is a dangerous-looking push from FanTaSy. Steps onto creep, and no Solar knows what he's up against. He has a couple Banelings out already, but maybe not quite as many as he would like. He's got 4 Queens here to try and defend against. The Queen's already taken a little bit of fire. The Queens do have a lot of health, though, so a couple Transfuses will be available to them. The Hellbats have morphed in, though, now, and FanTaSy is on the warpath. Solar has got to defend against this. He can't lose this 3rd base. Banelings are going to take down the Hellbats, but now there's no Banelings left, man. Okay, 6 Queens. That ought to push this away, no problem, right? The Queen's doing a good job shelling down the Medivacs. The Medivacs forced out there, and FanTaSy is not going to be able to put the pressure that he wanted onto that 3rd base. In fact, he's just going to heal up, walk around, and maybe get the hell out of there. Yeah, FanTaSy knows he can't pressure this. Oh, what? He's going back in? No, FanTaSy, you can't go back in, buddy. You're not in good enough shape for that. Definitely not. Macro hatch on the way for Solar. 4th base has been taken. FanTaSy getting a couple shots off here, but 1 medevac goes down immediately. Zergling stepping off of creep to try and fight this now. FanTaSy does have great micro, of course. He can kite this all the way back home, but the Zergling's wrapping around behind, actually, and that's gonna, oh my god, huge Baneling hit. 8 Marines do get out of there. FanTaSy picks up, but a lot of Marines are going down there. That was a bloody struggle there. And I think Solar taking a clear advantage here. Solar now on 4 bases with a macro hatch in the main 2. Oh my god. Good shape behind this. FanTaSy adding on more barracks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barracks already with a starport cranking out double medevacs. +1/+1 on the way. His base is looking real solid. His 3rd base well defended, fairly well walled off as well. Again, FanTaSy with the pressure will force a cancel here on this 6th base from Solar. Ooh, not even a cancel. Got a kill on that base. Nice work. Solar unable to cancel on time. So, FanTaSy gonna push forward here. Siege tanks up, sieging behind this destructible debris. And this gives him a really nice space to shell down 1 creep tumor. And lets him move this army into the side. Stims forward with just a few Marines, picking off what he can, moving the Queens out of position, trying to draw some Baneling fire. Both Banelings are going to go down there. The tank's getting some good shots off, controlling this zone very well. FanTaSy not reinforcing, though, leaving a lot of these units back home in the case of a Zergling run by or something, and that's exactly what Solar's setting up to do. Solar's got all of these Zerglings here, going to come up the ramp and get around behind this attacking force from FanTaSy. FanTaSy's being very smart, though, about not engaging with his entire army here, just keeping this small battalion and 2 siege tanks. Solar being a bit wishy-washy, maybe he wants to scrub in a few more Banelings before he commits, but he's been scanned and found out. That's going to allow FanTaSy to come down off the ramp, pick off these creep tumors, rotate around. Now, he's left these 2 naked tanks here. This would be a great opportunity for Solar to really pick in and pick those off. Meanwhile, drop in the main gets pushed away here. Not a lot of kills there, so a nice response time there by Solar. 4th base on the way from FanTaSy, but Solar has held all 4 of these bases so far. This attack on the 3rd continues, though. Zergling's trying to wrap around here. What a beautiful staging area, but a great wraparound by Solar, picking off both those tanks, chasing the bio even further off creep there. And that's exactly what Solar needed to do to break this pressure. Without the tanks here, FanTaSy really can't do much more than sacrifice the lives of some of these Marines and then get the hell out of there with the drop. He's reinforcing here, trying to keep this drop on the north side alive. 4th base floating into position here. A couple Zerglings should block it. FanTaSy stimming to get those Zerglings cleared out in time. Double drop rehealing. Now remember, this 5th base from Solar is very vulnerable. The creep spread is still a long ways away right now. So he needs to connect these with the creep tumor to be able to reinforce. Again, this drop is going to be found out and pushed away. Here's the big problem I see so far for Solar, is that the last few games when he's been dealing with this harassment, Baneling run by there is going to get caught by FanTaSy's reserves, pushed back. The big problem I see for Solar so far right now is that the last few games, if you remember, he's gone after Ling Baneling. He has gone into Hydralisk play. Hydralisk lets you shoot down those medevacs and gives you a lot, prevents a lot of sustain from your opponent. Oh, what? FanTaSy trying to siege up here. That's some Maru-level siege tank control, just sieging up while you're already beset upon by Speedlings and Banelings. Again, way off of creep here. Solar losing a lot of value with these attacks, and that's going to allow FanTaSy to get away. As I was saying before, the first few games, we saw Solar responding to this pressure by building a Hydralisk Den, which allowed him to shut off these drops. It shut down the sustain of the Terran player, so that FanTaSy would do a drop and then they'd have to get out, or else his Medivacs would go down. This time, we can see that without those Hydralisks, FanTaSy is able to sustain this attack for a lot longer. He has been in the main base with these 2 Medivacs for like 6.5 years now. Those Medivacs can legally drink in most countries. Ouch, some nice connections here. As Solar puts pressure, pardon me, Solar's base is pressured at the 7 o'clock. Couple nice Baneling shots, but there's still a lot of 2-1 Marines here. 2-2 just about to finish up. Some miscontrol from FanTaSy. Oh man, a beautiful Widowmine shot though. Dear Lord, 30 kills on that Widowmine. Congratulations, Captain. Goodness me. So, anyway, Hydralisks. With no Hydralisks, it means that Solar is unable to shut down those drops quite as quickly as he'd like to. Instead, he's transitioning into Ultralisks. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this. Already, we can see the Marauders getting mixed into FanTaSy's army. We're probably going to see some Ghosts coming out at some point. We see Liberator Range already on the way with that Fusion Core. Or not already on the way, but on the way in the future with that Fusion Core. I think FanTaSy's one step ahead of Solar. I don't know if FanTaSy has scouted these Ultralisks. Okay, yeah, he has scouted that Ultralisk cavern. So FanTaSy knows that Ultralisks are on the way, and he's changing his army comp beautifully to engage with this new threat. Even picks off a queen. Buy concussive shells, Terran players. Never don't buy concussive shells. Always worth it. Free queen kill. Again, a nice pickup from FanTaSy, and we will get out. Look at that. All of these Medivacs still very, very alive. And that's not what you want Medivacs to be as a Zerg player. You want them to be dead. You don't want them to be alive. Okay, Liberator's taking a very aggressive siege here. He's going to trade a couple nice Baneling shots for some, a couple Liberators. Is he going to get out of there? Oh my god, the Liberators do get away. Nice. 10 kills, 6 kills. Again, Solar's going to have to reposition this Spore Caller to drive the Liberators away, and that should allow FanTaSy to pop in back and maybe unload here if he's not careful. Liberator will go down. A nice defense by Solar. Meanwhile, FanTaSy's set up here at the 1 o'clock position. Planetary Fortress finished up. Extra command center on the way. The mules are real. We can see FanTaSy trying to get in again, trying to put some pressure here on the 7 o'clock base, but Solar defending beautifully. Solar's done a great job so far defending, but he isn't transitioning. Already, Liberators, Marauders, +3 on the way for FanTaSy, and Solar's just not ready to engage with that yet. Again, some quick pickups from FanTaSy, and since there's nothing that shoots upward for Solar, FanTaSy is able to keep more and more of these units alive, trading much more efficiently than his opponent. Look at that. Solar is 4,000 minerals. That's like 60% less effective, or less efficient, rather, than his opponent. You can see the income graph slowly working into FanTaSy's favor as the game goes on. FanTaSy even cheekily moving that over, not even morphing it to an orbital. Now, Solar is going to be able to spot that and stop it, I think, at some point, but geez, still. Okay, Solar set up for a flank attack here, going to come up from the back, but there's nothing up front. He's just going to pin him up against his own base. Oh my god. The destructible debris gets knocked down. What a play by FanTaSy to knock down that debris at the last second, giving him the ability to take down that base. That is some brilliant play from FanTaSy. That debris knockdown forcing his army all the way around until they can finally engage, and then FanTaSy can just pick up slowly, pick up slowly, pick up slowly, and keep destroying it. Beautifully done by FanTaSy. What a boss. What a killer. What an amazing nerd. I love it so much. There we go. Liberator range finally on the way, but Solar is going to drop down that Nidus in the main, and there ain't nothing around to deal with it. Oh my god, this Nidus could actually get a lot of work done here. FanTaSy, meanwhile, on the other side of the map at the 3 o'clock, pressing in. The Nidus is going to erupt, though. The SCVs won't be enough to break it down. Lots and lots of links flooding out now. The SCVs are going to get taken down. The Nidus still well alive, and this is going to start putting a hold on FanTaSy's army. Now, FanTaSy is going to be able to push back here, eating a lot of shots there from the Marauders with Concussive Shell. Solar gonna move in. The Liberator sieging just finishing up in time now. Liberator range has finished. but it's not quite enough. Meanwhile, in the main base, Zergling's laying waste to a lot of these production facilities, actually, picking off some of the key support structures, even going after the Ghost Academy. Liberators trying to siege up to get as much area as they can in the base, but Zerglings are tricksy little things, and this attack is still going on. The Nidus Worm still very much alive. Meanwhile, FanTaSy destroying this destructible debris that he created just a moment ago. The hatchery just about to finish up for Solar, and man, FanTaSy choosing a great time here. Scan's going to see these Banelings, Ultralisk pulls him off creep and decides he can't make it work and just gets out of there. Meanwhile, Corruptor's going to attack this planetary fortress while Zerglings go in behind it. The planetary almost certainly going to fall down. Zerglings still in this main base picking off add-ons. Wow, the planetary goes down immediately. The all 4 of the command centers lift up, but there are Corruptors already there, baby cakes. And oh, geez, there's one. There's, oh, get it. Oh, get it. Get it. Kill it. Come on, Solar. Anyway, 18 SCVs go down. Little Strike Force does pick off the Nidus network finally, and FanTaSy actually struggling just a little bit here as Solar begins to close this noose around the neck of FanTaSy. FanTaSy, I think, with a better transition, but just wasn't able to be as aggressive as he would have liked, and now Solar is really able to make this style work. Junk, don't, junk, don't, junk, don't, junk, don't, junk, don't, junk, don't. Terrifying. Liberators trying to pick off Corruptors, but that's not a fight you want to take as a Terran player. There it is. FanTaSy knows he can't win, and unlike FanTaSy, is just going to back out once he sees the might of Solar's army. So, match number 1, the first series, goes to Solar. Beautifully done there. Congratulations to Solar, who will take match number 1. So guys, that was match 1. We are about to get in here to match number 2. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a couple minutes on the clock. We need to do a picks and bans process for the next match, which is going to be Zest and GuMiho. So we're going to do picks and bans with Zest and GuMiho, and then we're going to get going right after that. So guys, give me about 3 minutes. We'll get those picks and bans done, and then we'll be right back in very soon. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 here in Group A for Alpha X Presents The Ultimate Showdown. Game number 1, series number 1 rather, was a very impressive series with a few good games, a little bit of cheese, everything working out exactly as I hoped it would. Solar is going to be our first person to move on. Meanwhile, game number 2 here is coming at you with GuMiho and Zest. Alright, baby. They have wisely chosen the greatest map in the universe for map number 1. On Disco Bloodbath. LE, baby. It's gonna be from Ocean Gaming, Zest. And at the 10 o'clock position, in the red, from Psystorm Gaming, it is GuMiho. Again, I am so disappointed that the map maker for this map didn't override the generic music and instead didn't put in like some sort of disco, because I would love to just jam to like, you know it's ladies' night and the feeling's right. I could totally do something like that. But you know what? I'll worry about that another day. Look at that, a very early natural down here for Zest. I love this. Neither player's scouting at all. These players know each other so well. They're just like, nah, I know what Zest is up to. I can read his mind. Or it's possible they just chose before the map. Maybe they flipped a coin. And GuMiho was all right, I'm going mech. Gonna get onto 3 bases and go straight into battle mech. And Zest was like, all right, fair enough, mate. All right, oh man, chat's moving so fast. I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, by the way. It's just a little bit difficult for me. I'm on Africa TV. Normally my chat is like right in my eye line. But now since I'm on Africa, my chat's all the way over this side of the screen. So it's a little harder for me to keep an eye on things. If I missed something you said in chat, I'm sorry. Feel free to just say hello again or say whatever you want to say. I'll try and catch it as the games go on and try and keep up and respond to you guys as best I can. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I'm just... Africa is a little bit different than my usual streaming setup, so it's usually easier for me to catch something you say if you say it early in the games, and I can pop over and see what's going on. So thank you all for joining us. It is such a pleasure to be able to bring you these incredible games in what's supposed to be, I mean, this is going to be one of the best tournaments. Certainly one of the most stacked tournaments in the next few weeks. I mean, goodness gracious. As we all sort of eagerly await the next big GSL games, this tournament should prove to be really impressive. All right, so Stargate's going to be the tech of choice here for Zest. We've seen Zest just do some terrifying shit with Stargates before. We have seen him top tier casting as I'm just looking at the chat and saying hello to everybody. Thank you, Salt Reactor. I trust you play Terran if you're a Salt Reactor. All right, so as I was saying, we have seen Zest do some terrifying shit with Stargate play before. This man, if he is left unchecked, can be so freaking efficient with this Oracle. There's nothing here to defend against this. There's a Marauder and a Marine, and Zest is even going to see that Marauder? Oh, man. Meanwhile, Hellion run by into the main, but, you know, what's going to happen? He's going to lift it up. Second Phoenix going to pick it off. 2 SCVs and a Hellion for the cost of... Drumroll, please. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, Zest is playing a perfect game so far. Don't expect it to last, but it's still incredible. Behind this, Zest is adding on a couple more gateways. He's seen what he's up against. I think he's seen those extra barracks going down even. Oh, no, he hasn't yet. Okay, but he saw the tech lab going on to the barracks, so he probably knows what's going on. He knows it's going to be some bio play. GuMiho, sadly, not going to treat us to that famous mech versus Protoss style that he helped to popularize in that one very weird Super Tournament 1 earlier in the year, when all of the Terran players were like, you know what's good? Mech. You know when we should mech? all the time. Very odd. 4 Phoenix and 1 Oracle, and the Phoenix production continues? Man, Zest. This man has balls. I like balls. Cyclone lock-ons will go down here. 1 Phoenix might get picked up. Nah, that's fine. The Phoenix is going to get out of range of the Cyclones. The Cyclone's going to be all right. A reactor about to finish up onto that starport, which will help GuMiho kick out a couple more Vikings. And he needs to get some more Cyclones here if he wants to stay healthy against this, again, very dangerous number of... Yeah, because look at this. Phoenix can be able to pick down the Viking, picking up both the Cyclones as well. A few Marines are popping out here. 1 Phoenix does go down. No, wait, does a Phoenix go down? Nothing goes down. Zest has not lost anything this game. Unbelievable. Zest still doing an incredible job. I'm telling you guys, he's terrifying on Stargate. He's adding on 3 more gateways back home. Upgrades? We don't need no stinking upgrades. Just units, units, units. In the words of... Oh, God, I can't think of that band name. What's the band that plays Gas, Gas, Gas? The joke doesn't work. I've ruined it now. But in the words of that band, units, 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 baby. It's like gas, gas, gas. Just keep your pedal firmly attached to the metal. I keep hoping chat's going to hook me up with the name of the band that plays Gas, Gas, Gas. Otherwise, it's going to bug me for the rest of the cast. The cast. All right, Singular Viking is out, but that's about to get dumpstered here by 37,000 Phoenix. A huge revelation goes down. There are a handful of Marines here, and we do see the Marine production picking up for Gumi. But still, 1 missile turret? Man, that's just not quite enough. Oh my God, it's still not dead. He still hasn't lost anything. Look at this. Look. You guys killing me? This is ridiculous. Zest is playing out of his mind right now. The army from GuMiho is not looking that scary. Now, he does have a little bit of an army here. A couple Zealots getting warped in here. Of course, Zest, with this intense investment into his Stargate play, it does mean he's going to be forced to recall those Stargates. The Zealots slightly out of position here. No, charge has just finished up for those Zealots, so perfect timing for the charge to finish up. And that poor medevac is just going to get destroyed. Lamb to the slaughter. Oh, God. Behind this, GuMiho getting his 3rd out, but 7 minutes for a 3rd base? I don't know, man. I don't know. Zest setting up some proxy pylons everywhere. He doesn't have a Robo Bay just yet, so there's no Warp Prism out, which means that he's going to have to reinforce or do run-bys with these proxy pylons. Yeah, Robo Bay just getting started. I think Zest was like, oh, man, maybe I should be able to use the Protoss abilities of Warp-ins. MRAT, yes, Solar 1, match 1, 2 games to 1 against FanTaSy. He looked terrifying, MRAT. Solar took game 1. Sadly, the Liquipedia staff and volunteers, I think, are asleep right now because they all live in Europe, so the Liquipedia is not updating as quickly as I'd like. Otherwise, I would just link it here on stream. But generally, you can see the Liquipedia. It's almost always a good choice to get that done. Okay, a big Zealot warp in here into this 3rd base. It is going to get sniffed out by GuMiho, but the tank's going to get picked up from the back here, eating a lot of shots there. Oh, man. Zest looks so freaking good, you guys. This looks terrifying. You know, GuMiho is done okay this game. He just hasn't been able to really get any work done. A big Widowmine hit going down there, actually eating a lot of these units, but there it is. It's too much from Zest, man. GuMiho just gets steamrolled in game number 1. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Zest taking a very solid game number 1 on Disco Bloodbath. All right, boys and girls, game number 2 coming at you right after this. Okay, we got 1 player who's still in game. And as soon as they get out of the game, we'll get this next map started. So I'll throw 1 minute on the clock here, and hopefully... All right. Oh, no. All right. Okay, guys. We're going to take a quick short break. And while we're waiting, we've got one of our observers apparently is taking a quick bathroom break. A reminder, guys, we are streaming this in Spanish and in Chinese. So if English is not your first language, hop on over to one of our partner streams that you can find on the Reddit post, on the TL post, on whatever. In the meantime, I'm going to do a quick ad read here for one of our sponsors that helps Alpha X to do all of this stuff. So, as you know, we're about to head in to the winners match for this game. Hang on, we lost Zest. The hell is Zest? That's weird. Okay. Huh. Anyway, so this is match number 2. We're about to head into the winners match with Solar and whoever wins in Zest and GuMiho. So, just like those players, if you want to be a winner, do you have bullies kicking sand in your face all the time? Do you have big, strong, muscly men calling you a wuss and going off with their girlfriends? Of course you don't. This isn't the 1950s anymore. People don't act like that. It's so weird. But if you do want to be a little bit more healthy in your life, if you want to feel a bit more strong, if you want to feel better about yourself and live a healthier lifestyle, we'd recommend that you check out 24-Hour Fitness. Even the nerdiest humans in the world need to get up, walk around, do some things. There are 24-hour fitnesses all over the place. You can get a free 7-day pass to 24-hour fitness when you do sponsor quests on the Match Arena. So if you haven't taken a chance yet, guys, look for 24-hour fitness in your location. And with that, let's get into game number 2. I could use a 24-hour fitness. I went to the doctor yesterday, and it's depressing because I haven't actually put on any weight. I weigh the same that I used to, but that's because I used to be quite fit and I used to have pretty decent muscles. And now my muscle mass has all deteriorated from being a nerd too much. And I've made up for it with even more fat. But since fat weighs less than muscle, my fat takes up more space and I look much chunkier than I did when I was fit, even though I still weigh like 150 pounds. It's pretty sad. All right, baby. Game number 2. In the top left-hand corner, in the blue, playing Protoss from Ocean Gaming, it is Zest. And his opponent, in the bottom right, in the red, from Psy Storm Gaming, the Towel Terran himself, it's GuMiho. All the Dominion's resources can be saved for Maru to win GSL. Everybody just sacrifice yourself. Yeah, Zest won game number 1, and then FanTaSy took game number 2. Zest tried a Nidus, sort of all-in play with a lot of Zerglings. Just couldn't make it work. Yeah, game number 2 last series was really interesting, where FanTaSy was just so patient with all of his units. He held back with his Marines and his Hellions and just waited, really, until he had critical mass. Mass repaired one of his siege tanks, and it worked really well. It was a gorgeously executed hold by FanTaSy. All right. We see Zest again expanding here pretty quickly. Is just going to get the Gateway and Cybercore down before dropping that expansion, and GuMiho going to do the same in kind. So Zest's probe is going to get pushed away by that first Marine out of GuMiho. Looks like no Reaper Scout for Gumi, by the way. No Reaper at all, in fact, from Gumi. Going for Marine first, which is, adding a reactor onto his barracks as well? With a factory behind it. Okay. All right. Zest Natural about to finish up here as he adds on his first tech of choice, Stargate. Now, I mentioned in game number 1 that Zest's Stargate play can be terrifying if he's on. Zest is sort of on-off some days, but when he's on a good day, and man, today looks like a good day for Zest, his Stargate play, terrifying. He started with Oracle into 37,000 Phoenix and just destroyed. He barely lost a unit for the first 5 minutes of the game last game. Didn't lose a single Phoenix, didn't get a single probe picked off in the harassment from GuMi. So if we see Zest with the same sort of great play that he had last game, he's going to be in really good shape. Behind this, we see GuMi transitioning to a 1-1-1. Slightly different than I'm used to, though. He did get the reactor down on that barracks first, which gives him a couple more options than he would otherwise have. Already, he's got a lot of Marines out. I think maybe this Game 1 Phoenix play by Zest spooked him a little bit. And I think now he's got so many Marines out that he knows he can't just get snookered by 2 or 3 good Phoenix run-bys by Zest. So the Marines are out of position right now. Of course, Triton, the rush distance between the natural and the main is quite a ways. The mains are very wide open here, and there's a long distance to run. So especially if we see that that Oracle coming in. Okay, he's not coming in at quite a good angle. He's going to come in through the middle of the map, and that, oh my god, GuMiho's going to move out right at the wrong time, just as Zest gets into the main, and here we go, baby. Zest, oh, being very cautious. He's looking for that Widow Mine. He knows it's got to be somewhere, but he's being cautious about it, trying to find that lock-on. Doesn't see it just yet, and there it is. He's just going to go to work here. 1, 2 down already. There we go. Finally, Zest sees the 2 Widow Mines burrowed down. There's no Widow Mine here to defend against that, though. A bit sloppy by GuMiho not to leave a Widow Mine in the main mineral line, and that Oracle is going to get away with 4 kills, and more importantly than that, a full scout of the base. GuMi has been figured out, baby. He's got a little battalion here in the middle of the map, ready to push out across the map, but there's some Stalkers and Adept home for Zest as well. Zest should be able to defend this fairly well, and in fact, Zest feeling confident enough to drop that 3rd base. Oh, beautiful stuff. All right, baby. Here it comes. Big drop from GuMiho, rather, into Zest's main base. The Oracles are here. 1 Phoenix is here. They're going to spot this drop immediately. Nothing is going to get down here. These Oracles do have plenty of energy. First Marine goes down. First Widow Mine goes down as well. Second Widow Mine not able to burrow. Oh, man, this drop has been completely shut down so far. Let's see. Widow Mine behind there, but a quick pickup there. Oh, my God, it was beautiful. The Widow Mine picked up the other Phoenix to peck it down, and the Oracle should have just enough energy. Stalker's able to pick it off. Zest defending. He says, Opsoyo, get the hell out of here. Well done by Zest, and even the medevac gonna go down. Oh, GuMiho is looking a little bit more rough than I was expecting, guys. This is not the auspicious start that he was hoping to have against Zest. Now, look, guys, Zest struggled a bit in the GSL, man. He came in with high expectations and just got smacked down in his group. And I think he went out maybe last in his group. Somebody can confirm that with me. But he looked a little bit sad in his GSL group. And now, he's dominating GuMiho. GuMiho transitioning to the GuMiho we know and love, though. He's getting that Cyclone with the Magfield Accelerator on there. Adding on a couple more barracks. Looks like he might go for a sort of a mixed style with some Cyclones and some Bio. Adding on 3-4 barracks. Wow, but still getting that upgrade for his Cyclones to defend against, of course, the Phoenix play from Zest. So it's a good response from GuMiho to make a composition that sort of counters your opponent's composition. I like what he's doing. I'm just a little worried that he's already 11 workers behind, 12 workers behind, 14, 13, 12 workers behind. You can do the math in your own heads. Viking's already out here for GuMiho, going to push Zest away, and I think Zest needs to stop making Phoenixes. He's still pushing those Phoenix numbers out. If we look at the unit tab here, we can see he's on 4, going to go up to 5 Phoenix, so it's not a huge overcommitment or anything. But as long as Zest stays active with these flying units, I'm sure he'll be able to find value with them later in the game. GuMi moving out across the map now. Cannon's going down to defend the main. Not a whole lot in the natural, though. Again, we saw this in game number 1, where Zest's ground army wasn't terrifying. He had a lot of gateways, but not a lot of ground army. He was just pumping money into production facilities and into that air army, waiting for GuMiho to step forward before he really started warping in. So, oh, Zest looks sad in the playoffs. Thank you, Fireclaw. Not his group. The playoffs. Yeah, I think he got dumpstered, if I'm recalling correctly. Did he get 3-0'd? I don't remember. Anyway, we've seen Zest adding more gateway units only when he realizes a threat here from GuMiho. And that's really nice. He's playing a bit like a Zerg player, where once he sees the units come across, he's like, oh, I better get some shit on the ground to defend against this. But still staying very active with this Phoenix pack. He's gone up to 6 Phoenix, and he's going to stop there for now. Back home, Templar Archives, Blink. Neither player getting up. Oh, there it is. Okay, so ground armor about to finish. And +1 rather, on the way for Gumi, as well as Stim and combat shields. Nice work from Zest to pick off a few units there. Gumi is going to move out here. A nice revelation goes down. He will lose an Oracle there at the cost of the revelation there, but he does know where these dangerous units are. He's tagged all 3 of the Cyclones and all 3 of those Vikings. Oh my god, a little bit of a misstep from Zest, though, allowing Gumi to get under him here. He is only going to lose 1 Phoenix, though. God, Phoenix are so quick. Such agile units, but a nice pick there from GuMiho, finally drawing a little bit of blood. First Observer on the way out for Zest. Long overdue, but when you've got Phoenix that long, you don't really need Observer because you pretty much know where your opponent's army is at. Again, Zest pushing forward, just causing some trouble, keeping GuMiho back at home, and wow, again, drawing him into a really nice revelation there. All of those units have been revelated. Call that Oracle John, because he's the Revelator, am I right? Sorry, that was a biblical joke for those of you who grew up going to Sunday school like I did. All right. Again, this army is exactly where it needs to be. Zest keeping a good eye on it, but GuMiho has quite a few bio units actually now, and his bio is +1 with +2 armor on the way. He's looking a little bit scary. He's been scouting forward, pushing out with some of these units over the course of the game, pushing closer and closer, drawing Zest further in. Now, Zest's defense is looking pretty good here. Oh my god, he's warping in so many Zealots. These are charged Zealots there with +1 armor, +1 weapons about to finish for Zest. Is he setting up a flank attack? Oh my god, Zest, I love you so much. Look at this. He's got Zealots up top, Zealots in the middle, Zealots down below. Oh, he's just doing a run by here. These Zealots coming across. Going to try and strike hard and fast now. The benefit of going bio, of course, for Gumi, is that you almost always have bio units back home to defend. So this Zealot run by probably won't get a whole lot done. GuMiho's built a good conservative sim city here. Oh god, he picks up and goes out just as the Zealots arrive here. And that is going to force him to come back immediately. Zealot's going to cut their way down here. The door is open. Meanwhile, a little scuffle happening here, losing a couple more units. But the Zealots have gotten in, forcing the drop out of all those medevacs. Now, there should be plenty of bio here to clean this up. But Zest just being a little bit frustrating, a little bit annoying here. GuMiho trying to micro back. Again, more of the Terran army getting cut off here. Colossi have been added into the mix now for Zest. GuMiho rushing home to defend against this increasingly terrifying army from Zest. Thermal Lance on the way. +2/+2 on the way. Zest's second forge is down. God, Zest is playing so efficiently this game. He's lost a couple Zealots, but dear goodness gracious, he's been looking real good. Look at the, sorry, what do I want here? That's what I want. Sorry, guys. Look at how much more efficient Zest has been playing here. 1,000 minerals behind his opponent. That is an advantage that is just going to spiral later into the game. As the game goes on, the more efficient you are, the more efficient you can be, because you don't have to waste money defending against dangerous choke points and stuff. This is the sort of the spiral that goes on that a lot of lower level players don't really seem to think about, but it's one of those reasons that early losses very often translate into mid and late game disadvantages, because you're forced, to take a fight you don't want to take, or to move out of position that you don't want to move into, or defend a location that you really don't want to go to. So, yeah, Zest is looking real sharp so far this game. 30 army supply ahead of his opponent, and his composition is looking really, really nice here. Take a look at the units for these players. Colossi, Archons, even an Immortal mixed in there, and then a lot of really healthy 1/1 gateway units with 2/2 on the way for both players. Now, the Liberators from GuMiho should help a little bit. The Revelation is going to show exactly where they are. But those Colossi with their pew-pew extended lasers, and there we go. An aggressive blink from Zest, going to get underneath the Liberators. All the libs going down almost immediately. Now, the Colossi are not focus firing here. Zest needs to control a little bit better here. Needs to get those Colossi focus firing down on the Marines instead of on this command center for some reason. There we go. Once the laser beams hit GuMiho's army, there it is. Zest is going to roll him over, baby, for a quick 2-0 victory, sending GuMiho down to the loser's match. Zest takes it 2-0, friends, and that is the end of that. So game number 1 went to Solar. Game number 2 went to Zest, and that was really well done. All right, guys, here we go. Let's put 3 minutes on the clock. I need to get some new players into the match. We're going to go into our winner's match now with Solar and Zest, meaning that we have a TVT losers match. So guys, stick around for about 3 more minutes, and we'll be back with more StarCraft 2 Ultimate Showdown action after this break. You hear that countdown sound? Yeah, man. I hear it too. You know what it means? It means we're going in to match number 3, the winner's match of today. Don't pay attention to the Group A graphic up here. We already have two matches down. As soon as Liquipedia updates to the most recent one, I will update that match capture, and we will update our players. But for now, let's get in to the winner's match of Group A. Yeah, baby. Here we go. One of these players will move on to participate in Saturday's semifinal single elimination bracket. In the top left-hand corner of Triton, LE in the blue. From Triumphant Song Gaming, it is Solar, the Light of Zerg. And his opponent, in the red, hailing from Ocean Gaming in South Korea, it is Zest, the Spice of Protoss. Oh. Zest, look at you. Now, in previous games, we have seen Zest go for Gateway straight into Cybercore. But now, Zest is doing it. Is it a fake out, or is he actually going to go for it? We only see one drone getting pulled here. There's a second probe on the way for Zest. First pylon's finished up. The forge is done now. And there it is. The cannon's down. The probe is out. And the droney boys have been pulled. Second probe is up here. He's got high ground vision with 3 probes. Oh my god, this could be fantastic. First cannon is definitely going to get down here as there's only one drone. Zest, or Solar rather, is working on pushing Zest's probes out rather than defending against this. But Zest being very active with this little micro challenge that he set himself on. First cannon about to finish here. The probes now moving forward here. Cannon on the low ground, cannon on the high ground, and 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3. Hana, dul, set. Spine crawlers have gone down, baby. Photon cannon already with 2 drone kills. 2 more cannons moving forward here. Oh my god, Sege. Look at that. The 4th one is going down. Oh no, it's whatever. I can't do numbers. The 4th is going down. These photon cannons are going to finish. Now remember, spine crawlers outrange photon cannons, so it is entirely possible that these Zerglings will be able to cause enough damage where the spine crawlers can get up and the cannons go down. We see the first spine crawler already down. There are no shield batteries yet. This is all cannons all the time from Zest. Now there are already 4, 5, make it 5 fifth spine crawlers on the way. 1 cannon is down. Second cannon is down as well, but all the spine crawlers still alive here. Zest's going to cancel another one of these cannons, but he does have a really nice little set of cannons set up here. The spine crawlers trying to move forward here, but they're into the range of the cannons now. The cannons, here we go. Zergling's getting on top of the cannons. Another cannon coming down here for Zest. Zest, by the way, all the freaking way in. He's going to try and expand behind this, but oh man, I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if he can pull out of this death spiral that he's got going on. Another cannon is going to go down, but one of the spine crawlers goes down as well. That means 2 spine crawlers are now down for Solar. Make it 3. Oh god, I don't know. Solar making 8 more Zerglings here. But there it is. Zest is going to successfully cannon rush his opponent? Did we just see a Korean Protoss win with a cannon rush? What? Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Zest is going to take game number 1. Wow. That was very quick. Also, that was very dirty. Oh my gosh, you guys. We're going to get in here to game number 2 in just one moment as soon as all of our players confirm that they are ready to rock and roll. Now, I'm going to update our little schedule here because somebody is doing an amazing job on Liquipedia and keeping us up to date. Look at that. Beautifully done. Okay, Solar declined. Is it not Thunderbird? It's Thunderbird, Solar. What are you doing, buddy? Get in here. Waiting on everybody. Solar is not able to... There we go. Solar is able to join us there, finally. And we're going to get into game number 2, guys. Again, let me throw 1 more minute on the clock here. Okay, we got Solar ready to go, and Zest. Okay. Baby. Wow, this has been so quick. I love it. A cannon rush from Zest. locking him in. He is now 1 game away from moving on up to the final round. Now, this is a double tournament style group. If you watch the GSL, it's exactly the same style as that. So this is the winner's match right now. Whoever wins this goes on to play on Saturday. Whoever loses it is not out of the tournament. They are simply moved down to the final match, the deciders match, later today. There we go, baby. Let's get into game number 2. In the bottom right-hand corner of Thunderbird LE. In the blue, representing South Korea and Triumphant Song Gaming, it is Solar. And his opponent, in the top left, in the red, playing Protoss, from Ocean Gaming, it is Zest. All right, guys. Before this match goes on for too much longer, I want to take one quick second and say there is a Matcherino available for today's series. If you would like to thank these players for their service, for their games, for their hard work, you can always visit that Matcherino page. Now, very often, a Matcherino page is made to cover the cost of a tournament, where they say if we raise whatever money we raise in the Matcherino, will help fund the tournament. That's great. I love it when Matcherinos work that way. Ours works a little bit differently. We have been very fortunate to receive some sponsorship directly from Africa TV themselves. So this tournament is 100% bought and paid for. Any money that goes into that Matcherino that I just linked in the chat increases the prize pool for this tournament. This is not just a $500 tournament. This is a $500 plus tournament. Any money that you give to the Matcherino increases that number. So if you are enjoying the games that you see today, if you are loving what these players are doing, any support you can throw toward the Matcherino increases their payout and helps them decide that they want to come back for more after this tournament finishes up. So please, if you've got any time to spare, hop into the Matcherino, use the code AXSupreme, and that'll add $1 to the prize pool. I think those coupons are probably mostly used up at this point. But if you have an open heart and an open wallet, and you'd like to throw $1, $5, $10 toward this tournament, we'd love it. If you donate $10 to the Matcherino page, we're going to give you all of these replays. Yeah, you. If you donate $10, the replays are yours for the taking. All you have to do is go to the Matcherino page and use like the purchase replays button. You'll donate $10 to the tournament, which goes straight to the players. I'm not getting paid for this. The Alpha X admin team isn't getting paid for this. The players are getting paid for this. And if you enjoy the fact that Zest is going Dark Shrine right now, and you want to be like, oh, Zest, I want to make it rain, hop into the Matcherino and support the players, man. Anything you do is truly very much appreciated. It helps the players decide which tournaments they want to come back for. So the more love we can show them, the better. Warp Prism on the way. Gonna be a DT drop harass out of Zest. Solar has not seen this yet. Oh, Solar. Now, he doesn't have Overlord speed either, I don't think. Yeah, so Solar skipped Overlord speed, going for Zergling speed instead. He's gonna lose this Overlord, and now I think Solar might not know what's coming at him. He has not seen this Dark Shrine, the Dark Shrine about to finish. Now, he has seen the Warp Prism, so he has some suspicion about what's going on. And we can see the Spore Crawler going up to the third. However, nothing in the main. Spore Crawler in the natural, and no Overseers on the field just yet. Not a single Overseer. So these two DTs are going to get in. There's only 3 Queens here to defend against this. Is he going to go straight into Archons, or is he going to pick up and try somewhere else? And yeah, he's going to pick up and try somewhere else. Okay, again, Spore in the natural here, but there's nothing in the main. So these DTs are trying to find some surface area where there's no Spore Crawler where they can get some work done. They are going to go straight for these Queens, pick off a couple Zerglings as well. Oh god, if they get around that Spore Crawler, there's not going to be anything left here. 3 DTs, and there it is! Oh my god, the Spore Crawler goes down, and now these DTs are loose, just like the juice in 19... whatever year that was where that all happened. 1995, I think? Oh my god. He does force the cancel on the Warp Prism. The Queens are able to draw it down, and Zest is going to recall out of there. What a great defense there by Solar. Uncanny. Unbelievable. The Queens picking down that Warp Prism until the very last minute, and now the Warp Prism recalls back home to that natural of Zest. He picked up the 2 DTs and got the hell out of there. So Zest doing his best to get some DT harass done there, but a very, very nice defense. The score is 1-0 right now. Statu Pongpen? Sorry, my Korean's terrible. Yes, it is currently 1-0 with Zest in the lead. Zest cannon rushed his way to victory in game number 1. A cute little Zergling run by here. Going to force down 2, maybe 3 or even 4 probes here. Poor little probey boys. And the DTs are there, and a nice warp in from Zest at the last second there is going to defend his wall there. So he only loses 4 and is able to get those 2 Archons going, which is really nice as well. And this is the beautiful thing that we've seen about DT harass into double Archon harass, which is a very natural transition to make. Oh, the wall's open, the wall's open. It doesn't matter. All right, Solar gets pushed away. The DT harass into the Archon harass is a really nice natural transition because you get the Archons for a little bit of a cheap, on a bit of a budget, and it's still a nice way to move from immediate surprise damage to long-term sustained damage. AKK, my last stream in Korea. No, not my last stream, but this is my last tournament. So today, tomorrow, and Saturday, I will be casting this tournament, and Saturday's tourney cast will be my last stream that I do here in Korea, and then I'll be out for a couple months, just putting my life back together. And I don't know how long I'll be away. All right, Zest moving on the map here. There are 7 Mutalisks about to finish here. The Spire has not yet been spotted by Zest, so Zest does not know that Mutas are in his future. The Zergling is going to see that there's not a whole lot here. No cannons, no stalkers. Oh man, all of Zest is out on the map right now. Archon's out as well. The Mutalisks have now popped. The Mutalisks going to take the long way around, heading around the south side of the map. Now they are going to get spotted by this army. They're getting on top of this Warp Prism. Try and pick the Warp Prism down if they can. The Mutalisks are going to get the Warp Prism. That's huge. It is totally worth the price of losing 1 or 2 Mutalisks, 2 Mutalisks for that Warp Prism, because now Zest can't reinforce. As long as Solar holds here, he's going to be in great shape. We see preemptive Corrosive Biles going down. Solar's going to eat Zest is going to eat a couple of those Corrosive Biles, but he does have a lot of beef here in this army, so we'll see if Solar can hold on here. Solar has a massive army supply advantage, but that is mostly tied up in Roaches and Ravagers, and again, with no Warp Prism to defend against this, I think even the Mutalisks coming back home to defend, an interesting choice here from Solar. I would have thought he'd want to go back home and pick off probes on Zest's side of the map, but man, Zest's push is just going to get crushed here, and oh, Solar is taking game number 2 in convincing fashion. All right, boys and girls, that brings us in to game number 3 in the winner's match. We have got a decider game, and I could not be happier because this decider game is on. And if you watched my stream before, you know what map I'm about to say. The greatest map in the history of StarCraft 2, my favorite map. It's Disco Bloodbath. We've got the countdown going. We've got the Sugo from both players. We are ready to rock and freaking roll, baby. I need Caster Pak here. Shija! Kashimura! I can't do it quite as impressively as he can, but there's also no crowd of GSL fans like all cheering afterwards. So, you know, you can do it. Let's go. All right, baby. Game 3. Here it is. Disco Bloodbath LE. Spawning at the 4 o'clock position, dressed as John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. From Triumphant Song Gaming, it is Solar. And his opponent, dressed as the Fonz from Happy Days. In the blue, from Ocean Gaming, it's Zest. Can I get some Zest is best in the chat, please? Give him your love. Man, what an interesting game there. Zest with a doomed push in game number 2. You know, I hate to see a game end like that. Players that generally try to do their best, that have this really nice push setup, and then didn't see the Muta transition, wasn't prepared for it, and honestly, Solar lucked out a bit, sending his Mutalisks down south on the map, or I forgot my camera's backwards, sending his Mutalisks down south on the map, with that army right here, able to fly the Mutas in, pick off the Warp Prism, and just cripple Solar's push. It's like a Nancy Kerrigan situation there, where he just went in with a crowbar and just, bow, took out his knees. Obviously, unable to reinforce there. You know, what's Zest going to do? Warp in at home and try and do his best. Didn't quite have enough there. So game number 2, Solar winning. Don't get me wrong. Solar definitely won the game. He played really well. But Zest also losing the game pretty hard. Early third here for Solar. Third base down before the 2-minute mark. Greedy, greedy. I love it from Solar, who wants to go full macro this game. Zest has not been scouting at all. Look at Zest's vision right now. He's just getting in now to scout with this probe. He's been putting off his scouting until very late, and I don't think he's going to see that third base unless he goes all the way out for it. Yeah, he's just waiting here at the natural. I think he's trying to fake another cannon rush maybe. But Solar not going to fall for it, obviously. His Overlord's there and knows that there's no forge at the front gate here. Zest going back into the play that he's more familiar with. We saw this in his first 2 games against GuMiho. We saw it in his first game against Solar. Going for the Stargate play. Going to crank out the Oracle, couple of Phoenix, and try and get some work done. We'll see if Solar can scout it. If Solar scouts it, of course, he's going to have plenty of time to be prepared. But so far, Solar being conservative with only 1 Overlord on the other side of the map. Now, Disco Bloodbath is an interesting map because the only place to hide an Overlord is here on the outside of the natural base. And since it's all the way opposite of the ramp of the natural base, the Overlord really can get not a lot of scouting information when it gets pushed over on top of this disco wall here. This disco wall, the one that's amazing. I love it so much. But the Overlord here not going to get a lot of information, and it's gonna, if he wants to get info, he's got to fly all the way across here. Now he will see the Oracle pop out, and so now he'll know what he's up against, and should see, yeah, we see Spores already going down here for Solar. So Solar's got a good read on the situation. But it's a little harder for Zerg players here on this map, because sometimes, you know, you can park the Overlord like here on a map, or somewhere even closer. Sometimes you'll have a little spot here where you can park the Overlord. But on Disco Bloodbath, Overlord all the way on the far side. Behind this, Solar, a lot of Spores, plenty of Queens, ready to defend his little life out here, even has a Zergling scouting, so he knows the exact timing. We see the first Oracle did pop in, tried to get a little damage done, but ate a lot of hull damage. The second Oracle just coming to join him here. They're going to tag up, and team up, rather, and go tag team. Base number 3, there is already a Queen, already a Spore here. Solar in fantastic position to defend against this. And yeah, we can see Zest going to back away, just going to play conservatively. And behind this, we see him adding on Twilight Council and a Robo Facility. So he should transition here into something a little bit more traditional. We see the War Prism coming out. We see Stalkers on the way. Would not be terribly surprised to see Blink coming out from Zest, which we've seen him do before. Although with Templar, leads me to believe it might be a Zealot Archon play, actually. So Templar Archive's already down. Which, yeah, again, I would have loved to see Blink out of Zest. I think he has really good Blink control, and I'm surprised he doesn't do it more often. Zerg being run by here, very well timed by Solar. Now, luckily, Zest sent an escorting party here to try and protect his probe. The probe's going to go down, though. Oh, a nice pick off there from Solar, who's going to slow down the building of that third base. Warp Prism will get scouted, of course, by Solar as well. So, yeah, man, wow, Zest in good shape, but Solar, with binoculars on, looking, he's like Mad-Eye Moody from Harry Potter, where he can see everything on the map all at the same time, even catching this warp in of High Templar. He's going to see that Archon warp in and go to work immediately, trying to pick these off with some Zerglings. Actually committing pretty hard here. The Oracles will pop in, send those Zerglings back home. Behind this, Solar going for Roaches, a great choice. As long as they don't get bunched up there, Roaches can be a really good defense against this Archon drop. Now, importantly, we've seen Solar fall in games before where he didn't have Hydralisks because he was unable to push away, in his case, in game number 1, the Medivacs for FanTaSy, which allowed FanTaSy to keep the pressure on a lot more. In this game, it's going to be more difficult to drive that Warp Prism away. So I'd love to see Solar getting in. He isn't going for Hydralisks again. He's getting that Infestation Pit down. Going to go up to tier 3 tech quite quickly. Get that Hive out, I assume, as soon as the Infestation Pit's done. But I would love to see him going for something that shoots upward. Again, Zest has so much sustain with this Warp Prism. He's going to be able to be a lot more efficient and continue getting value out of that Warp Prism as the game goes on. Look at this. Just dropping everything into the main base. The Queens are here, but oh god, okay, though. Whew. That Archon is going to get saved by the hairs on his chinny chin. And we'll get out of there. But again, pick up, drop, pick off, creep. Did he see the 4th go down? Of course he did. He saw the 4th go down, got the scouting information, able to pick up and get out. Swarm hosts. Swarm hosts? Swarm hosts? Swarm host Nidus, baby. I love it. So, rather than going for Infestors or something, we see Solar falling back on the traditional Zerg aggression in the mid to late game. Swarm hosts. These have not yet been spotted. He has 11 swarm hosts on the way. Oh, that's so many swarm hosts already going. The Knight is just about to finish up. He is going to load these babies in there. How is his vision? Let's take a look at Solar's vision this game. Wow. The power of Zerglings, am I right? The cheapest scout you ever did see. Now, his scout on the north side did get picked off, which is a shame because I think that was probably where he wanted his Nidus to pop out. But he still has one here at the 3rd. The 3rd, of course, hasn't been dropped down yet. And the Oracle, again, doing good work picking off Zerglings left and right. Stalker picking off Zerglings on the north side. And yeah, I think Solar's going to be forced to drop his Nidus here. It's important that he gets it done quite quickly. Again, the good news is with Disco Bloodbath, you can get straight up into the main, and there's only one cannon here to defend. Oh god. Roaches pushing back here. Zest with only 39 army supply. He's being so greedy. He's got 3 Immortals. And now we see already the Locusts are down, and they are heading straight for the main base. Oh my god, they can pick off the +1. They're going to pick off the +1. +1's going to get denied, and the main base is in shambles, my friends. 10 probes already, the Nexus under assault, and that Nidus Worm has paid for itself in spades. The Locust picking off the Nexus, clearing out the main mineral line, and +1 going down. Zest looking a little weak right now, baby. Solar has a couple things scanning here, but he has not yet spotted. There's this big blind spot. Now, he finally does see it here. Is going to move the 2 Archons over, but will they be able to pick it down in time? Yeah, I think the Nidus is going to be low enough where it'd be foolish for Solar to pop out right now. So that Nidus is just going to go down, but it doesn't matter. Solar scrubbing in I almost said Zealots, more Zerglings, more Roaches, has that Nidus down, going to be able to reinforce here. And what's an Archon going to do against so much evil? Look at all this Zerg on the map! The Nidus is down. The Swarm hosts are pouring out, and now Zest wants to engage, but there's no Gateway army. Look at this. Zest, you built all the fun units, and you forgot to build the important units. There we go. He's warping in a lot of High Templar now, but High Templar don't have Storm. It's not going to be enough. Locusts, Roaches, all getting on top of Zest here, and Zest is going to start losing Immortals left and right, trying to juggle with that Warp Prism, and actually, if he has good Warp Prism micro, he may have a shot. Second Nidus will get picked down by the Oracle, so that's nice for Zest to stay on top of that. But again, more Nidai worms coming out. Nidus worms, or Nidai, coming out. The Swarm hosts are back, and they are ready to freaking rumble, baby. Behind this, Solar adding on the Greater Spire to his tech. More gateways for Zest, but man, I don't know if it's going to be enough here. Zest's army supply has increased a lot. He started pouring a lot more resources into his gateway. But with the Locusts out, free units are so good, man. A nice stasis trap there, actually. Isn't going to get set off yet. Very cute that Solar saw that and re-established his Locust positioning here. But getting on top of this entire army, and now we see a lot of the key units from Zest's army getting picked off. The Gateway army crumbling immediately. Just down to some Archons and Immortals. Some nice Warp Prism pickup play there. Zest able to save a lot of units, and actually is going to get on top of these Nidus and will drive Solar back. But Solar has a vengeance, and he is ready to freaking kill, man. Look at this. Solar adding on another one. He's got a Nidus Worm going down. Look at the income tab. Solar just really running away in the last 5 minutes of this game. It was fairly even until then. This is beautifully set up for like a Roach Ravager run by now. Zest is going to rotate around and should be able to pick it off in time. which is nice, and that's going to stem Solar's aggression for now. But remember when we said earlier that Solar was getting Broodlords, or getting a Greater Spire behind this? Here it is. Broodlords. 70 drones. Broodlords. Roach Ravager. Plenty of Zerglings. +1, +2 on the way. Meanwhile, +1 just getting restarted for Zest here. Remember, he lost his first Forge early in the game, so now he's just getting +1 down here at the south part of his main base. Another Nidus Worm going down, scouted immediately by Zest, so Solar is going to get pushed out. And now Solar's having some trouble, actually. He needs to continue putting on the pressure. He can't let Zest sit back home and build up that really scary, dangerous army supply. But he also wants to get these Broodlords ready to go, so he can't afford to be too aggressive until he has critical mass of Broodlords moving across the map. Now, +2 isn't going to help the Broodlords out any, because that is +2 missile attacks, not +2 melee. Roaches and Ravagers getting picked off, but that's fine. I think Solar just probably happy to free up a little bit of supply. Zest pushing aggressively onto creep here. Oh god, is Zest going to walk straight into the Broodlords? Solar set up a little Spinecrawler forest here to protect his 4th base. Meanwhile, Nidus is finally going to go unscouted on the north side of the map. This Nidus should get picked off soon. It's got 1 health left. But this Nidus is going to go down, and there are a lot of Swarm hosts ready to pour out of here and just decimate this base. And yeah, we're going to see this happen, boys. The army for Zest pushing on to creep. Meanwhile, the Locust getting on top of all these gateways. That's not what you want to focus on, though, Solar. Who gives a crap about gateways, boy? Get the Nidus. A lot of Solar's army is tied up in those Swarm hosts, by the way, so don't be mystified by the supply counts when you look at the armies and think, wow, Zest is so much more powerful. It's because he's not waiting on Swarm hosts. Stalker's finally getting morphed in here for Zest, but there's not a whole lot, man. I'm a little bit worried, honestly. The Spinecrawler Forest is in good shape now. Swarm hosts retreating to the 4th base. The Broodlord's way back here. A lot of transfuses going down. The Archons and Immortals able to mow down those Spinecrawlers very quickly, but all the Broodlords are still available. We see another big warping of Stalkers. Unfortunately, Stalkers are not going to be able to aggressively blink underneath those Broodlords because there's so much bio in the way here. The Broodlords retreating to the high ground, and with those Swarm hosts able to save themselves, I think Zest's push here is going to get absolutely crushed here, and Solar happily able to defend, trading most of his free and cheap units for very expensive, very high-tech units on the other side of the map. The Roaches even going to continue to mow down, and that's going to be it. Zest just going to tap out, baby, and Solar is going to be our first player to move on to Saturday's play. Congratulations to Triumphant Song Gaming's Solar, who will find himself in the semifinals Saturday night. All right, baby, we will update this graphic for you as soon as somebody at Liquipedia pops that open. I do it myself, but I'm in the middle of casting games right now. So here's what we're going to do. I need a quick break. I got to stand up. I got to stretch my legs. I'm going to get a deep vein thrombosis if I keep sitting here. So I'm going to give a quick break to our players. We're going to come back in about 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. We'll be right back with the losers match. One of our players will go home. A TVT between FanTaSy and GuMiho. Guys, don't go anywhere. In the break, stand up, stretch your legs, and visit our Matcherino page. I'll see you in a bit. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Apologies for the extra delay here. Took a couple extra seconds to get our players in, but now we're ready to freaking go. This is the losers match for Group A. One of these two Terran players is going home, baby. I don't know who it's going to be. I love both of these players so much, and I wish we didn't have to send one of them home. But que sera, sera, such is life. All right. In the top, right-hand corner of World of Sleepers Ladder Edition. In the red, from Psystorm Gaming, it is GuMiho. And his opponent, in the bottom left, in the blue, from Pixel 1, it is FanTaSy. So, fun fact, I got to do the voiceovers for GSL versus the World. It was the most fun I've ever had. I was thrilled when they called me and said, Creighton, do you want to do the player names for GSL versus the World? Because I have always wanted to do that. So I was so excited. I was like, I was ready to freaking go. I got into the room and they were like, okay, Creighton, why don't you read the player names? Like, you know, just give us a sample. So I went full announcer and I was like, and in the bottom, it's Chosungju Maru. And I did that a couple times. And I was like, Ricardo Romani. And they I was like in the booth, all excited to do like crazy player names. Ocean Gaming Special. And they tapped in and told me in my ear. They said, Creighton, just normal voice. Normal voice is okay. And I went, so I was like, Jin Air Green Wings Maru. Ocean Gaming Special. I was all sad about it. I was hoping to do my silly announcer voice. So now, anytime I announce these players, I always feel like I have to take it up to like 13. Pixel 1, FanTaSy. Like I'm an actual announcer. All right, similar builds here so far. Nothing crazy, no proxies, no nothing. Ununu, can I speak Korean? Chogum. Chogum Hangul. Just like a very tiny amount. Not enough to really count. I can read it very well because Hangul is very easy to read. So if you show me something, I can read what it says because the language is phonetic, which is amazing. But my vocabulary and sentence structure are just terrible. So, all right. Gumi is going to get in here with a little bit of harassment. Picks off one SCV. We'll see if the counter harass does anything here. Going to be a Reaper v Reaper battle out of these two players. And is going to get pushed away. All right. So Gumi's natural is going to finish up. He's got a little bit more harassment. He will be able to pick off... oh, nice. He will be able to pick off FanTaSy's Reaper there. So now GuMiho is on the warpath back home. Going to meet up with these first Cyclones. He does have a Raven on the way. Oh, no. Banshee is canceled there. What? Gumi cancels his Banshee, goes for the Raven instead, which is a smart play, because FanTaSy already has a Raven out as well. So, yeah, I would have been really surprised to see a Raven going... pardon me, a Banshee going instead of a Raven. So Gumi will not suffer from like a build order loss here, which is very often the case in TVT. If you do go for that Banshee, you're rolling the dice real hard. It's not going to happen, though. So let's see if GuMiho is able to get anything done. I don't think so. There's enough Marines here. The Cyclone should lock on to... okay, a nice pop halfway by the ramp there. So FanTaSy is going to preserve and protect that Hellion. But GuMiho still here doing a lot of work, man. The Hellion goes down. There's only a couple Marines left. That Raven needs to be able to drop an auto turret to save it. But the first Cyclone... Okay, first Cyclone is out here. Cyclone lock-on battle is going to happen here. The first Cyclone is going to go down there for both players. So this FanTaSy does have his Cyclone left. Sorry, not for both players. FanTaSy has his Cyclone left. And he is going to be able to pick off a Reaper as well. GuMiho going back home. Both players drawing blood. in even amounts. I think it's going to be fairly even from here on out. We see more Ravens popping out from both players. Second Raven now on the way, but here's the big difference. GuMiho expanding behind that aggression. Look at the units lost tab. Kind of even, you know, 2 SCVs, a Cyclone instead of a Hellion, this and that and the other, but it looks fairly even so far. In fact, if you look at the resources lost tab, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. The difference is that GuMiho was the aggressor. He went out on the other side of the map. He put himself in harm's way. He gave up his defender's advantage, and in doing so was able to start his command center just a few seconds earlier than FanTaSy does. Shows that he has a slight edge on this game. Very slight, but that he's feeling confident enough to move across the map and make some aggression happen. And now, it's FanTaSy's turn. He's realizing, oh man, if Gumi was feeling confident enough and he's expanding behind this, he doesn't know he's expanding, but I'm sure he can guess that he's expanding. But FanTaSy expanding behind this as well, and wants to move out on the map to be a little bit more aggressive. Aside from the slight differences in their timings and aggression, everything else looks, man, just about the same. We see Stim, Tank, Viking. There's an extra Liberator coming out here. On FanTaSy side of the map, he's done Viking Liberator instead of Viking. But I don't know that it's going to matter here. We're seeing both players going into a bio-tank style with some Vikings and Liberators to support. A very balanced play from both players. Siege tanks are up first for FanTaSy here. He's going to get some big shots off on the bio. GuMiho sacrificing all of his bio to pick off the Ravens. So the air fight is going to go in favor, I believe, of our boy Gumi, who now has, oh yes, he has complete air control. A huge victory for GuMiho, clearing out all those tanks and picking off the Vikings. GuMiho is going to win that fight with decision. Decisiveness, I think, is the word I was looking for there. I said decision, and it sounded right at the time. That was the wrong word. I was an English teacher once, and I still make that mistake. Most importantly, air control from GuMiho is going to be the key factor here. We can see GuMiho ramping it up, both players adding on a lot of Vikings. GuMiho landing that Viking for some reason. I think that's a mistake. Unsieging his tanks, moving forward. The air control now firmly in favor of FanTaSy here. Now, yeah, see, GuMiho needs this third Viking up on the map, so he has 3 Vikings now to just 1, 2-1 now, and he's landing both of his Vikings to pick off the tank. Oh, this is really interesting. FanTaSy's going to have to land his Vikings on top of the tanks if he wants to really do some work there. Landed Viking harass going to come in and start picking off SCVs here for FanTaSy, who is pinned behind this incredible siege tank line of GuMiho. There's 1 tank from FanTaSy to defend his third, but that's not going to be enough, man. Look at these landed Vikings picking off transferring SCVs. It's going to force a stim here out of FanTaSy. FanTaSy stimming to push back, taking out the Vikings here of GuMiho. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, there we go. Landed Viking on top of the siege tank. Oh, that's so cute. Mass repair going down. FanTaSy is going to be able to save that there. Oh, tank versus tank. There it is. The tank goes down, and it's too little too late here. The tank does siege up. Some huge siege tank fire going down. GuMiho winning in every sense of the word here. Now, the SCV supply fairly even here. Look at the units lost tab. We can see more SCVs have gone down from FanTaSy, but that's because GuMiho has been aggressive now in the mid-game. Now that he's dislodged this tank from the third, this third base from FanTaSy almost certainly going to be forced up and out. Just like the Great Glass Elevator from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, he's going to go up, and then he's going to go out. Siege tanks laying waste to SCV lines, mechanical units blowing up all over the place. This is looking better and better as GuMiho closes the noose, now up about 10 army supply. Now, Gumi's a little overcommitted at this point, I'll be honest. He probably didn't need to throw away those last couple tanks, and in fact, I don't even think he's going to be able to take out this third base. FanTaSy's going to lift off. GuMiho's going to try and get in with some Marines underneath it. He does stim, and actually, oh, FanTaSy is going to lose this third base completely, and now it's time for GuMiho to get the hell out of there. Gumi is overcommitted at this point. He's lost too many tanks. Now, he's gotten a very good victory with that third base, which is just going to burn down here in a minute, but he's going to lose all of his tanks. The bio forces are going to get on top of those tanks. The command center is going to burn down there. Get it? Nice. It burns down, but his bio goes down, his tanks go down, and the army supplies are roughly even. So GuMiho still, yeah, there it is. Finally, GuMiho going to pack up, take his toys, and go back home. Going all the way back to this third base, which is now oversaturated. That is going to turn the income wildly in favor of GuMiho now that he is 1 base ahead. Both players got their +1/+1 behind this. Both players have their armory on the way. FanTaSy just a little bit ahead. Obviously, the armory just going to be for that 2-2, which we should see starting any moment from both players. skirmish in the middle of the map here as the bioforces from GuMiho are pushed back. FanTaSy wants to make something happen now that he has some tanks out of the map. Look at the unit count here. 3 tanks to 2, so just a mild advantage for FanTaSy. But both players cranking out 1 tank at a time. Vikings are going to be what this comes down to, though. So many Vikings need to come out from both players, but I don't see either one of them increasing their starport count at all, which is mildly concerning. That means that whichever player wins the Viking fight with some twitchy micro is going to win, or if somebody's bio can get underneath the other player's Vikings, they're going to do well also. This fight queuing up to be a really good one here. The players very evenly matched so far. GuMiho still wildly ahead in economy and workers, but the army's relatively evenly matched here. GuMiho slightly ahead of FanTaSy. GuMiho also with defender's advantage, meaning that his bio units will be replaced much quicker. We see 2-2 is startup for both players, but it's the same time, so they're not getting an advantage there. They're just keeping up with each other's Joneses. FanTaSy sharking back to the bottom side of the map, needs to recuperate here, trying to get his forces together. And Gumi content to defend his third. Note that there's still no third. The third just getting started for FanTaSy. Whoa, he is way behind economically this game, and I think he knows it. The longer the game goes on, the better this is going to be for Gumi, who's able to pump out just slightly more than FanTaSy. Whenever you look at a TVT like this, where the builds are slightly even, and you're trying to compare, you know, oh, who's got more tanks? He's got 2 more medevacs. Maybe that makes a difference. I think you're making the wrong call. Sure, unit composition matters a lot, but if we all remember back to the very first Day 9 Teaches StarCraft Brood War that we ever watched, StarCraft and StarCraft 2, to a similar extent, are not real-time strategy games. They are economy management games. As long as you build more stuff than your opponent, you're going to be in a significantly better spot. And right now, GuMiho is building more stuff. So he's got fewer tanks. He's got more Vikings. The same number of Marines. Okay, he's got more stuff. Overall, his Vikings are getting that advantage because they're just bulkier. He's got more stuff to do with them. So I think GuMiho in a significant lead, but this is TVT, boys. 1 bad stim into this bunch of siege tanks, or 1 missed call. That's a nice scout there by FanTaSy, who's going to now see this army, which is going to force him to unsiege and move back, unsiege and move back, unsiege and move back. He's not unsieging his tanks. 1 tank here from FanTaSy, trying to clean all of this, but huge stim bioforce from GuMiho, moving into the third. The third base, again, is going to get lifted off and picked off. That is a real shame there. FanTaSy losing his third base for the 2nd time this game, and now FanTaSy, instead of defending, is just going to go for a counter push here. The tanks are sieged up for GuMiho, though. The bio stepping into siege tank range. Oh, just barely skirting the outside of it, picking off a couple supply depots. That's really cute play. Might even force a minor supply block out of Gumi, who, yeah, there we go. There's the supply block from GuMiho. So this siege tank line actually doing a nice work. The problem is now that he is sandwiched between GuMiho and GuMiho. It's a FanTaSy sandwich with GuMiho on either side. Liberators now sieging up. Bio getting underneath the Liberators, both of them get pulled down, but either way that FanTaSy goes, he's pinned between siege tanks on the left and siege tanks on the right. There's a little bit of a no man's land here in the middle, but Gumi is in so much trouble. FanTaSy is in so much trouble. We even see Gumi moving over to the north side to pick off this small contingent that's going forward. But man, with the complete control of the air, we see the bio forces for FanTaSy are dwindling. Now, FanTaSy has a second little bunch of units that he's got moving down here, gonna try and pick some things off, but again, the Vikings giving GuMiho superiority in the air, enabling him to see everything that's going on. This is a beautiful pin by GuMiho, disabling almost all of FanTaSy's army. All this army supply, useless. This army supply, clipped in the knees by the fact that it's less than half of what he needs. Siege tanks on the hop here, left for just visual purposes, I think, as GuMiho moves in with his bio units. Now, this is going to allow FanTaSy to move ahead, sweep out the tanks on the left side, and that's going to give him a little more mobility and actually could cause some trouble here, as now GuMiho has fewer units back home to defend. But now the natural is under siege. He's going to eat a couple siege tank shots, but it's totally worth it. In fact, he's going to get on top of this siege tank. The siege tank's going to go down, and FanTaSy knows he can't hold. GuMiho is going to take game number 1. What a game. What a game. GuMiho going up 1-0 against FanTaSy in game number 1. So, game number 2 is coming at you guys real quick here. Game number 2, the players have chosen well. I'm so happy. I think I have seen this map in all 3 of our 4 of our matches so far this afternoon. Oh my gosh, it's 2:30 already. All of our matches this afternoon. Next up is Disco Bloodbath. I love this map so much. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. All right, I've got the Sugo from FanTaSy. I'm waiting here on Gumi. As soon as GuMiho gives me the go-ahead, we will be ready to roll. With game number 2 here, with FanTaSy on the ropes. Reminder, this is the loser's match. Whoever does not win this game goes home. They lose their chance at the, if we're honest with ourselves, pretty hefty prize pool. The prize for winning today and just getting into the semis at all. Our 3rd and 4th players are going to be rewarded with $50. Second place is $100. And first place is $300. Now, guys, those numbers are not set in stone. The more money that you donate to the Matcherino page is more money that gets distributed straight to our players. I'm not getting paid for this cast. I'm doing it because I love it. Alpha X isn't getting paid for this cast. They're doing it because they love it. These players are getting your money. So if you have not yet, please head to the Matcherino. And if you've got a couple extra bucks sitting around, dig in the couch for some spare won that you've got. Donate. We need that money for these players who are putting on a beautiful show. Speaking of players putting on a beautiful show, spawning at the 4 o'clock position here on Disco Bloodbath LE. In the blue from Psystorm Gaming, the Towel Terran, it's GuMiho. And his opponent. In the red, from Pixel 1, it is FanTaSy. Taeyong is not playing in this tournament, chat. TY is busy making money as a caster. That's where all his money is at, baby. FanTaSy sending out a scouting SCV a little bit earlier than his opponent. Gumi not scouting at all this game, actually. So scouting SCV for FanTaSy will get in here. He is going to see the factory being built, and he will also see, very nice. So the scouting SCV is going to see that barracks, which is funny, because GuMiho put his scouting barracks all the way on this side. Disco Bloodbath is a really interesting map in that it has this little area up front where you can hide things. I've seen cannon rushes happen here. I've seen all kinds of wacky shit going on. So GuMiho, I think, trying to hide that barracks, trying to maybe trick FanTaSy into thinking he was getting proxied or something. FanTaSy, not off-put by it. He's just going to build that command center on the low ground and get his own factory up back home. These two players both reading each other fairly well. Now, Gumi is not spotted at all, scouted at all yet. There we go. His first SCV just getting into the main. We'll get picked off by the 2 Reapers. Oh, that was a Reaper. Pardon me. His Reaper scout will just get into the main there. We'll get picked off by the 2 Reapers of his opponent. But no huge tragedy just yet. Both players still pushing on ahead. GuMiho going for a 1-1-1. Again, Gumi's natural delayed just a little bit. So his starport is going to be a little bit earlier than his opponent. Bunker at the front for FanTaSy, just in case there's any sort of tricksy stuff going on. But, no. Nothing bad at all. First Cyclone now on the way for Gumi. We've seen Gumi use these Cyclones with great talent in the past couple months, even a year probably. GuMiho really sort of redefining what a Cyclone is and what its significance is in the matchup. And as I praise him for his Cyclone use, he cancels the Cyclone immediately and starts building a Siege Tank instead. Sure. Whatever, man. You do you. First medevac is out. Looks like it's going to be an early drop here from Gumi. Now, if he catches FanTaSy by surprise here, if FanTaSy's in his bunker, if his Reapers aren't at home, a drop could be pretty terrifying, actually. Wow, there it is. Oh, a siege tank and 4 Marines. This will be a really interesting drop, but look at that. FanTaSy on the other side of the map has that Raven out. If he can disable the drop before it gets there, he's going to be in good shape. It is going to come down to a flick of a switch. It's going to come down to instinct, to hand-eye coordination, to reaction time. FanTaSy has built this supply depot here, so he's barely going to see this drop now. Is he going to move back in time? We see two Marines moving back, but the tank has finally been dropped here, and this is a lot here. The tank gets bounced back. It hasn't sieged up just yet. GuMiho not focus firing down very well. The Raven should be able to disable. Is he going to go for the tank? Oh no, he's just going to go for the auto turret. That is going to allow GuMiho to pick up and get out of there. I thought GuMiho might transition down to the natural to get it done, but that was a really, really nice defense by FanTaSy, who didn't jump to any conclusions, who defended fairly well, and who now has a tank in his main, but GuMiho ain't done yet. He's got more coming. He's got another drop. He's going to drop that tank on the low ground. He's going to pick off a supply depot. He's going to cause all sorts of havoc here. And wow, yeah. Oh man, barely. FanTaSy able to save that one just in the nick of time. GuMiho being very frustrating, very annoying there. And more importantly, GuMiho starting that third base. Now, FanTaSy's third base has also started, but with the aggression that we've seen from GuMiho this game and last game, GuMiho is not afraid to be the first player out on the map to fight up against FanTaSy and really keep him pinned at home, meaning that FanTaSy can't move his army out. He's got to stay at home. He's got to stay safe. And we see GuMiho using that to his advantage right now, where he's continuing these little pokes, these little pushes, and even dropping siege tanks up on the high ground. Gets a Reaper in the front to distract, so he can get siege tanks in the back. Siege tanks do go up. Some huge siege tank shots go down, all on the bio of FanTaSy. FanTaSy bum rushes the siege tanks now with a lot of SCVs getting on top of it, but 7 SCVs have gone down. Both tanks still alive. The Raven from FanTaSy just a little bit too late, unable to disable anything. GuMiho still has a tank in the main. The Vespine Geyser goes down. The tank gets dropped on top of FanTaSy's tank. FanTaSy's tank is going to go down, and fellas, this could be the death knell. Disable onto the tank of GuMiho, who picks it back up immediately. Okay, Gumi is going to lose one tank there. The Bioforce is going down, eating a couple tank shots there, and actually, I think FanTaSy's going to defend against this very well. Okay, FanTaSy is going to push Gumi away right now, but that is a really, really cute and unorthodox drop out of GuMiho, where he's got those tanks into the main base, able to do some cute pick up and drop micro, get those tanks grooving, because we are on Disco Bloodbath, baby. The tanks grooving right along to the Bee Gees, and to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and to Hall and Oates, and to Simon and Garfunkel, and all of those other funk bands that I can't think of right now, because I'm also trying to cast a StarCraft game. GuMiho's going to finish up that stim, +1 on the way. +1/+1 on the way for GuMiho, who's going to try to spin these aggressive advantages into a mid and late game aggression. Gumi scouting around, making sure there's no surprises waiting for him, no hidden run-bys, no nothing. In the meantime, we can see FanTaSy adding on 2 more barracks to his play. He's got a total of 5 barracks out now, and has got tanks to support those as well. So again, we're going to see Bio tank with some healthy air support from GuMiho. Air Supply, another great 1970s band. Lost in Love by Air Supply. Lost in love and I feel your touch. That one, you know them. Air Supply, they're great. All right, FanTaSy's third base is now established, but so is Gumi's. The income fairly even, but oh my god, no tanks set up. Army way out of position here. Where the hell is Gumi's army? Oh, it does. FanTaSy's army, it doesn't matter. Gumi's just gonna get the game, man. 2-0, and GuMiho stays alive. So FanTaSy, bye, buddy. You played well today, and we will miss you, but he's going to get knocked out immediately. Let me just really quickly look at what was going on here. It looks like the third base has been dislodged. The army supply was wildly different. I think FanTaSy hadn't built quite as much as GuMiho had, and that's a little bit early there for FanTaSy to GG out, but either way, we'll take it. So, fellas, that means FanTaSy has been knocked out of our bracket for the day. GuMiho is going to get a chance to fight for his life against Zest. So, I'm going to put a couple minutes on the clock here, guys. We're going to get our next players in for our final match of the day. GuMiho versus Zest for the decider match to see who goes on tomorrow. We'll be back very shortly. Thanks for joining us. All right, gang, we are finally back here, getting ready to go in to the final match of the day. We are ready to roll with these players, Zest and GuMiho. One of these players is going to go on, and one of these players is going to go home. The update that you're seeing right here is not quite correct. GuMiho is now 1-1. His record is 3-2, the same as Zest. FanTaSy is 0-2. He has been knocked out. So it's not quite up to date in Liquipedia, but you get the idea. It's Zest and GuMiho going at it in the deciding match. Let's hop in. Pardon me. All right, guys. Our first map in this best of 3 to decide who moves on to Saturday and a chance at the $300+ prize. In the red, playing Terran from Storm Gaming, it is GuMiho. And his opponent, in the blue, playing Protoss from Ocean Gaming, it is Zest. Oh, man. So, if you are just joining us, here's what's up. Zest and GuMiho have already played each other once today. This is a rematch. Revenge. Zest won the first set 2-0. He wiped the floor with GuMiho and was able to just pretty much get up to a death ball and destroy him. GuMiho honestly misread Zest's power. Both games, I think, and Zest just powered up, had a lot more units than GuMiho did. GuMiho wasn't ready for the army that came after him. GuMiho still like teching and economizing back home. And Zest was able to just roll him over. Honestly, there was no tricky play. There was nothing too crazy. Zest opening with Stargate both games and just executing very effectively. And that's classic Zest, right? Get a good map, execute well, and win the game. We often see that from GuMiho, but GuMiho sometimes does rely on some tricks, some sneaky foibles to make things happen, and he wasn't able to pull a rabbit out of his hat in games 1 or 2. So he is looking now for revenge against Zest. He wants to win this again. If you lose today, you go home with $0 in your pocket. You don't win a thing. And you get the shame of losing while Creighton Olsen casts your game. Like, if you lose while Artosis is casting, you're like, all right, whatever. At least I got a cast out of the deal. If you lose when Creighton casts your game, that's a lot more sad. Okay, so this Reaper probably will die here very quickly. It is starting to heal up, but I think 1 or 2 more shots should finish it off. Oh, maybe he'll get away. Look at that. So the Reaper will get a scout off, sees the natural, but doesn't get up to the top there. Zest content to chrono out probes, and we saw, just like in his first 2 games against Gumi, where he looked very comfortable going for that Stargate. On the other side of the map, we see Concussive Shell already coming out for GuMiho, who now has 2 Marauders out and a Reaper, the Adept Escape with its life, and the knowledge that Concussive Shell is coming. Now, the first Oracle's coming down, but remember, Marauders have a lot more hit points, so there's a 3 bio hit squad here that might actually do a little bit of damage here. This is a very interesting build from Gumi, who's now getting Stim and has 2 barracks and an engineering bay. Reaper up into the main. Now, the Reaper's going to siphon off some of this energy from the Oracle. Okay, and those Marauders are just going to head back home. What the hell is GuMiho doing? So he's got a 2-1-1. He's got an engineering bay that's not researching anything. He's building missile turrets. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is weird. Maybe GuMiho's flexing some crazy new style on us. He's going Marauder first into Widowmine I don't know. Looks like the Marauder first was like an interesting choice from GuMiho, but maybe a mistake. I've only ever seen Marauders with a concussive shell out first if you proxy a couple barracks, and you do that concussive shell Marauder proxy. But it looks like from here, he's just transitioning into exactly what you would expect, which is Starport, Widow Mines, 3 Oracles out from Zest here. We'll see if they fly into danger. I don't see any Widow Mines buried in the... oh, yeah, there are. Okay, Widow Mines are buried in the natural here. But again, Zest being very cautious here, trying to loop around to make sure he doesn't get caught, waiting for that lock-on. Now, 1 Oracle is going to go down. That's a nice pick there by GuMiho. Zest is going to get a Revelate off, so those units will be Revelated. He will know where that Marine clump is, but again, you've got to be very cautious. Another Widow Mine, not hidden in the natural, though. There's no Widow Mine down here. There is one in the main. 2 in the main, rather. 1 up here, and then 1 underneath right there. So Zest can't get any work done in the main, but there is a missile turret in the natural to drive him away as well. So behind this, Zest realizing that he's not going to get the job done with just pure Stargate. He's going to have to go into Blink Stalkers after this. And I love this play. Zest does real well with Stargate. And he does really well with Blink as well. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. He does really well with Blink. You know, you blink some Stalkers up into the main, get some damage done. He has got fantastic control, and with a Warp Prism coming out, eventually, I hope. Well, he has no Robo down just yet, so there's no Warp Prism to reinforce, and it actually might be a while, as he's dumping all of his money here into 5 more gates for a total of 8 gates. That's going to get him up to exactly where he wants to be here. Gumi's going to go ahead and move out across the map. I'm honestly a little bit nervous for Zest right now. He needs to warp in a lot more units, and he needs to do it really fast. Now, his gates are going to finish up just as this aggression gets here, and of course, Zest is keeping an eye on this aggression. He's got a Revelation on the entire army here of GuMiho, and GuMiho, importantly, only has 2 medevacs. That's not a lot of medevacs for this many bio units, man. Army for Zest looking okay, but not terrifying just yet. Yeah, first Robo is now coming out. Zest obviously not ready to be the aggressor this game. Oh no, Zest! Oh no, Zest! Oh no, Zest! Losing sight of that just a minute there. Ouch, Micro and something back home. And the Widow Mine drop going into his natural here. This will get picked up by the Stalkers. The Stalker's going to work down. The Widow Mine is going to get down, though. Oh, my God, the Widow Mine. Zest saw it in time and just didn't pull. 9 probes going down. Oh, Zest falling apart a little bit here. Still ahead in worker count, but that was a big win for GuMiho. I will gladly trade a medevac and 2 mines for that many probes. I think Zest thought his Stalkers could pick off the mine when it dropped. Just didn't micro that very well at all. And this is going to mean that it's time for Gumi to move out across the map here. Zest has been uncharacteristically unsafe, now down to just 52 army supply. Warping in some more zealots here, which might help. We see GuMiho reinforcing slowly, but here the big engagement happens. Okay, interesting. All those force fields are just going to delay GuMiho a little bit. What you want to do with those force fields is slice the army in half, right? You want to trap some of the army on either side. You work down this half, and those have to wait for you, and then you come after the rest up with your meat grinder of units after that. That's not what Zest did there. Zest just blocked the entire army out, so GuMiho has a chance to heal up, get some more medevacs into the fight, and allow his reserves to come in. And now it looks like GuMiho wants to go for the fight. Both Widow Mines are going down. Some Widow Mine... Okay, no, he's going to save those Widow Mine shots for juicier targets. Gets all of his Widow Mines burrowed, though, and oh my God, the Widow Mine shot's going to explode on everything there. The Bio splitting out. The Liberator joining the fight now. Stimmed Bio. All the Probity boys are getting pulled, but 8 more probes going down. Oh my God, Gumi just going straight for the jugular here. He's going to sacrifice all these Bio units to chase down probes, and it's going to be it, man. Zest is just going to get destroyed there by GuMiho's mid-game push. Congrats to GuMiho, who takes game number 1. All right, baby. All right, baby. GuMiho going for revenge now. I love it. Game number 2 is going to be on, and I'm so happy to announce, friends, Disco Bloodbath. Zest on the ropes. He's waiting. Now, guys, before this next game gets started, I do really quickly want to talk about one of our sponsors because I have to do it before we end. So I'm going to say, you've probably heard us mention several times that 24 Hour Fitness has studio classes at many of their locations. Do you know what you can do in those classes? They got options, baby. They got cycling. They got yoga. They got Pilates. I, myself, big fan of yoga. It's the main way that I stay fit, and 24 Hour Fitness offers you yoga classes if you join 24 Hour Fitness. If you're listening from the United States, check it out. They've got like hundreds of locations all over the States. No matter where you live, there's probably one there. So we highly encourage you guys, go check out 24-Hour Fitness and either get jacked by lifting weights or get flexible by doing yoga. But either way, get healthier by loving yourself. And with that, let's get into game number 2. Game number 2 between GuMiho and Zest. This is the deciders match. The winner of this match goes on to play on Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Korea Standard Time. So guys, if you want to come see Solar and either Zest or GuMiho, come back in 2 days. But if you want to see some of our other players, you should come back tomorrow. Do you know who's playing tomorrow in Group B? I do. It's Cure, it's Ragnarok, it's Classic, and Hero, all playing tomorrow, starting at noon, Korea Standard Time. Be here, or be square. All right, baby. Disco Bloodbath. The map that is also a bop. Spawning at the 10 o'clock position in the red, currently up 1-0. It is Psystorm's GuMiho. And his opponent, in the blue, from Ocean Gaming, playing Protoss, it is Zest. Love this music. This soundtrack, man, the Blizzard sound designers, the composers, the sound designers, they're so freaking good. I love Blizzard music. If you scroll through my music library, like huge chunks of it are just Blizzard soundtrack after Blizzard soundtrack. It's StarCraft 1, it's StarCraft 2, it's every World of Warcraft expansion, it's Hearthstone. It's wonderful stuff, man. The Blizzard sound design team. I mean, look, Blizzard gets a lot of shit these days. I think they're struggling to sort of redefine their identity in the new century that they find themselves in. But the sound design team has consistently been just bananas candy better than any other sound design team in the business. So if you know those guys, please give them my love, because they're absolutely incredible. Oh. Look at this. You see it, guys? Look at that. It's a robo facility. And it's a proxy starport. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, this could be so bad for Zest. Okay. Oh, boy. If, like, one Liberator gets in here. Cybercore is down. But right now, all he's got is an Adept. What's he going to be? If he builds a Stalker next, he should be all right. Okay, War Prism coming out. He needs some Stalkers out on the field, like, right away. Like, right away. Oh, you're totally right. Diablo 1 and 2 soundtracks, also incredible. Dude, do you remember when they introduced Diablo 2? And they had that guy come out, and they just had the guitar player on stage who was doing the Diablo 2, or the Diablo 1, like, 3 notes, and the whole crowd was just, because we all knew immediately. Oh, it was so good. So good. All right, Observer coming out. Still no Stalkers. Uh-oh. Warp Prism moving across the map. Now Gumi's seen it. What does he have back home to defend? A Cyclone is coming out. That's going to help him out. But the Liberator's almost done, and there's nothing to defend against it, man. Pylon, but no cannons. Oh boy. Oh, this is going to be a really interesting match. Okay, Warp Prism coming up into the main is going to unload an Adept and 2 Sentries. Now, there's not a lot here. The Cyclone is going to pop out right at the wrong minute. Could get Focus Fire down here immediately. SCV's pulled the deal with this. Meanwhile, one Marine here, the Liberator about to pop out. First Liberator has destroyed 14 probes already. Let's see if the attack from Zest gets cleaned up here. A good surround there. Warped in a couple more Stalkers. Now, so far, very few SCVs have gone down. Cyclone's gone down as well. There's not a whole lot left to defend. Zest going to try and do some work from the low ground here, but I think GuMiho in a really good position here. He's only lost 4 SCVs. As long as he can hold for just a little while longer, this Liberator's going to be able to stop mining time, even cleaning out the natural base here. Gumi's going to be able to get out of there. Zest wants to reinforce over here at the natural, at the natural rather, of Gumi, but unfortunately he's unable to. There are a couple of Marines out now, and the double Liberator. Oh my god. Liberator harass setup. Can the Stalkers find a spot? No, they can't. One Liberator might go down. Second Liberator is going to get chased away there, but this has been absolutely insane so far. Zest, meanwhile, trying to keep up the aggression at the natural of Gumi, but I think GuMiho's in a really good spot here. 31 SCVs to just the 19 probes of Zest. Cyclone is now out. A healthy bunch of Marines is out as well. There's going to be a shade on top by these Adepts here, trying to focus fire down. Why isn't GuMiho repairing this Cyclone? Come on, GuMiho. I don't think it matters, man. Focus firing everything down here. Some cute prism play from Zest, but it's just not going to be enough here. Liberator could focus fire down any of this stuff. Liberator is going to help him save the world here. Liberator sieges up on the ramp, preventing any of these Zealots from getting in. He's going to have to elevator up into the main. This is really cute play from Zest, who's forcing Gumi back and forth, but it's not going to be enough, man. GuMiho is going to take Zest down and get his revenge, baby. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen a reverse sweep there. GuMiho taking Zest down 2-0 in the decider match. So GuMiho is gonna move on to join Solar tomorrow. On Saturday. So this, guys, is where our stream ends for the day. Group A, the results there are not exactly accurate. Let me give you a quick recap. Our winner, of course, of the day is Solar, who will get the first seed in the, he will play the 2 seed of Group B on Saturday. Second place is GuMiho, who is the 2 seed. He will play the 1 seed from Group B on Saturday. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, Korea Standard Time. Join us again right here. We will be back at noon, casting Group B. And let me show you guys really quickly what Group B looks like, because it's going to be sick, nasty, awesome. Here, my friends, is Group B for tomorrow. Cure, Ragnarok, Classic, and Hero. It's gonna be amazing. So folks, please rejoin us tomorrow afternoon at 12 o'clock noon, Korea Standard Time. Thank you all for joining us for the Alpha X Ultimate Showdown. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.